It's still not there. Let's pick that. Sorry, I gotta fix this camera real quick. And it's being dumb. Big mass. Alright, let's get back to chilling. It's not terrible. Great. Discord's taking a poop. That could be fun.
Your will, my hand.
All the world on one arrow.
What do I have a skin for? I do. Haven't enjoyed long drags in a bit. I need to get back into my game. I'll deal with this in a minute.
Is that Avarosa's bow? You know what happened to her? Be careful with that. True Ice's powerful stuff.
My mother loved me. She fought and died trying to give me a better life. So I fight and will die fighting to give all Avarosians a better life. This outfit makes total sense. Just look closer and think about it less.
Admitting your guilt? How generous.
Know this! I am Ash. I bring the light craft. This is the fury of an iceborn. There will be peace in the Freljord. I will forge it. Hey, Freljord! Any of us get cold weather clothes? Take this.
Mind the trap.
I am a war mother. I have given oaths to few. I have taken oaths from many. Eyes unclouded. Thank you. Your tongue's gonna get stuck in my head.
Be careful with that. True Ice's powerful stuff.
Hardship. I will teach them peace.
Endure! See my
Open your mind. I am Freljord. Family. Tribe. They are all. What is goodness but trying to do better than your forebears? I shatter and wield on fire. You'll enjoy being a spirit. It's nice. No fate is written except by us.
Leave no one standing.
Double time! Eyes unclouded. Your turn to die.
drown in holy fire!
I do not seek the throne of Avarosa. The day our tribes are one, the world will tremble. Open your mind. Spotlight's yours. See mine. of our people hangs in the balance.
Pay no attention.
My arrows fly to home. My world burns
Thus the mighty fall.
one realm to another.
Better duck. Steady.
Peace requires a steady hand.
No, I should have gotten that item. Oh, well, no.
Flame purified.
Brilliant.
Lead our way. I do my best work from afar. Open your mind.
Much appreciated.
Double time. See my
Right where I want
I
you.
will unite the Freljord. I bring the light back. See the queen. Deal unclouded.
Buried with your translation.
This music's just, you know, like, I don't mind the calm, chill, but it's just too calm.
I was born with a heart. All Freljordians are. See my keep singing.
Target marked. Immaculate.
No one escapes my aim.
Your guilt was clear.
So you want to hear the story of this place, of my glorious death? Stay a while and listen. I might tell you that and more.
Oh, come on, guys. Just a second. Sorry, guys. Switch it. Let's see how it goes. Alright. Let's back up this team. They need it. They deserve it.
Move quickly, position well, and the battle is won before blood is drawn. I am the bow! The flame! When I say Aderosa, I hear
Fancy
my
a
mother
treat?
and dreams.
Fear me.
Heads up! We must press on.
Think again. Lost the train of thought.
I dream of a nation for my people.
Lead the charge.
What will this unsaid? Mister, I'm sorry. I only needed one shot. Anivia, guide us. The bow is my will given forth. I am it. It is me. I will show them the power of an iceborn. Heartbound and iceborn, spirit walker and fire. Strike quickly.
Calibrating. I never miss. Buried with your transgressions.
Hey, don't know who popped in, but welcome. I'll check later when I have time.
They think me cold. I have seen things the Southerners cannot imagine.
How are these two doing? They're fine.
Spirit, reveal our way.
I don't appreciate that, sir. It's very annoying of you.
Lead the target.
Boom. Headshot.
We are all kin of kin, blood of blood.
Cut off that head. If that doesn't work, throw them into the abyss.
Nice. Ah, shit, she got burned.
Let's see how close they can get. Swiftly now.
Mind the trap.
Together we are Avarosa.
Hey, Grim. You can pop in Discord, man. Oh no, this is just a Voodoo Ranger. Drinking the booze tonight. I don't know what it is. Discord's mad. Let me hop into Discord. There you go. There we go. Cool, cool, cool. Discord's up. Ah, fuck. I just need this item. Fuck it. I'll eat the mana loss and just use my autos. I've had to anyways.
My tribe will bring peace.
Hello, hello?
My mic's getting weird.
Yeah, it makes you sound like your voice is deep or something. I know you're a soprano. It's okay. Oh, come on. You know what's funny. It was stupid. But it...
Connecting to my, first connecting to my mic wasn't connecting.
Ah, yeah. All good. I gotta turn you up.
Yeah, I know.
I'm
I'm a little
gonna...
sick as well, but
Oh man, Mr. Sniffles. Sir Sniffs a lot.
I'm just...
That sounds
I don't know if I'm
different.
being sick or not. I think it's just allergies.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
Oh yeah, man. I got destroyed on them earlier in the year. Whew, excuse me. Sorry. Okay, I just realized I didn't have some of my that sounds different. Oh shit. YouTube. I watch way too much YouTube to be healthy. And so it's always non-muted when I pull it up, which sucks. Cause I need to kind of mute it. So what's new with you, dude? How you been?
Nothing much. I just had a sudden job today, but
You got a what?
I got a sudden job, or I had to
Sudden
go out somewhere today.
job. How does one have a sudden job?
It's with carpet cleaning to get jobs around.
Jesus. Sorry, I'm not used to the... Like, one, I can't hear you. And two, I'm not used to League anymore. And these guys actually know what they're doing.
So I just saw the Aurora kill, so I'm probably a minute behind, aren't I?
Not really. Wow, there's 4 people here. Holy shit. I have the kind of team that will like solo dive and be like, "Why are you bad?" I am bad, but it's also might have a lot to do with the fact that you dove solo.
I mean, I'll admit when I'm an idiot, I'll dive low, but like, I won't blame my teammates for my stupidity.
Well, see, lots of people do love blaming their teammates for their stupidity.
Maybe like tank.
Time to run! I'm dead! I fucked up. I got greedy. I was like, I ulted 3 people. I should do something with this. Nah, I was stupid. Look at this motherfucker in his undying rage. Good on you, man. Good on you.
Oh yeah, you just got.
Yeah, man.
Undying rage. Honestly, 7-13 is not bad.
Hmm? Well, I had a crazy thing that happened today. Did you see that post that I put in Discord about the YouTuber I met?
Yeah. I remember you told me about it. You were gonna go meet him last time we talked.
Yeah, I was talking. I thought that was you. I was talking about hoping to go meet him, and I got to do it today, not Monday. But like, yeah, you know what? Schedules, right? Dude's got a fucking packed ass schedule, and I'm over here doing shit too. Not nearly as much, but some shit, you know.
How was it?
It was it's hard to. I'm trying to think of a way to phrase it. Maybe it's just 'cause I'm so fucking tired. I've been up since like 8 o'clock this morning. Yeah, and I'm one of those people where like I go to work and I come home. I spend my 12 hours and I go to sleep. Right? If I'm up 16 hours, it's a problem. But it's just sometimes it's a wimp, but also my back's fucked right now.
I remember last time we were talking about that as well.
Yeah, that's kind of like, and that's the thing is I'm so I don't like being bitter, but it's easy to be cranky when you're in pain. It's too easy. And so it's kind of important to try not to be that. Not that I do well, but I try. So the oh shit, that's gonna hurt. I can't get out. They're all killing me. Thanks for that. But like, it's
I just saw that. Ooh.
Yeah.
Aurora ulted you. They wanted you dead.
But yeah, so yeah, whatever shit happens. But like, I'm not in any way trying to claim that I know a lot or that I'm super smart. I know the bare minimum to be relevant. That's the way that I see it, right? So, and even still, there's so much I don't know and so much that I have to bow out on, right? And nothing's gonna change that. I'm not the expert in the room on so many things. And that's gotta be okay, right? Oh, shit, I was trying to fucking back my team. And I guess someone died and I couldn't. Fuck it. Marie. Anyways, point is, sometimes you're in a room with someone and it's clear that they are exponentially more intelligent. And it really takes a certain, and I don't want to, like, I'm not trying to talk about myself in any positive light, but it takes a certain amount of humility to be able to express that. And this bitch, my teammate ain't doing shit. Oh well, he taking a nap. But the point is, it does take a certain amount of humility to be willing to admit that you are not the smartest person in the room. You are not the most intelligent person in the room. You do not know the most, and you don't have the most experience. But that doesn't mean you don't have something to give. And so I'm talking to this person who was an Army JAG prosecutor. I'm talking to this person who was the lead prosecutor in Washington, D.C. I'm talking to this guy who has contracts with MSNBC. Like, you can have an opinion with him, but they literally value his opinion enough to pay him to be exclusive with them and only them. Right? So many other groups use him and his opinions and his experience. And he's on other channels. Some I like, some I don't, whatever, doesn't matter. At the end of the day, I can't say that I don't like them. I like some more than others. I think that's the better phrasing, truthfully. Ah, shit, that's gonna hurt, isn't it?
I mean, yeah.
I don't dislike any of them. I like some of them more than others. But this guy's opinion, he's so fucking focused. And, this bitch. Nice. And that's not an issue. I certainly do not hold any part of that against him. But to me, the most important part is that he seems genuine. Like, one important thing to mention in any relationship is that a partner can fake anything for 6 months. Okay?
I will teach them peace.
It's an important thing to remember. A partner can effectively fake anything for 6 months. A lot of people don't focus on that and don't give it the weight that it deserves. That is a pretty harsh but very helpful fact.
What is goodness but trying to do better than your forebears?
Ah, shit.
I mean, I'm sorry I'm not responding so much.
You're good.
I'm a little sleepy.
I got you. I'm just focused on the fight and putting people down as best I can. I think I did okay. I didn't do great, but I did okay. Oh, you can't buy second tier boots anymore. They changed that.
Oh, could you ever in ARAM? I didn't know
Yes.
you could do that.
Oh, I didn't get a shit talk at the end there. Anyways, but the thing is, he's an incredibly intelligent person, and he's very focused on what he believes in. And we had a great conversation. And the problem is, from my point of view, that in truth, I really felt like I could sit there and talk to the guy for the next 4 hours and not run out of anything to say. Like, you can play games and debate with people, or sit at a bar for a few hours and find something, but this is literally like sober chat. We have so much ground that we could cover, so many things that we could talk about, so much that we could try to focus on. How do you distill it down to 30 or 45 minutes? And sometimes you just have to walk into it with an open mind and minimal research. Because from my point of view, we didn't have an agreed topic. All I was doing was stopping in, getting a quick tour, saying hello, getting to know him, being personable, and seeing the studio. And he's literally a one-man operation with 1 or 2 other people helping out. I mean, yeah, there are other people involved, certainly, but he's 99%, from what I can tell, a one-man operation. Like, that's insane. I just kind of want to see my damage real fast. I'll be right there, I promise.
No, you're fine.
But, like, could you imagine basically still being one-man operation and having a fucking million viewer or million subscriber YouTube channel?
That is kind of insane.
Yeah. And if you watch it, oh Jesus, I did terribly. I'm not good with Ash, I know that, but like, fuck, that's bad. But the thing is, he was intelligent, he was friendly, he was considerate, and I literally bumped into this person just out and about. I don't want to dox myself unnecessarily, but I bumped in. Yeah,
I think I know where.
That's fine. It doesn't matter. I met him in person. I recognized him, and I was having a really bad day. I was losing my shit for some other dramas. I'm trying to load in. There we go. And he was just respectful. And all I really got out, because I was already having, like, frustrations, and seeing someone who meant something to me just, like, brought out, I guess, emotion that I'm not used to. My toxic ass doesn't know how to handle emotion, so when I feel it, I'm like, ah, fuck this shit.
I kind of understand that. I don't really show my emotions at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as a dude, you're kind of taught, be emotionless, never sad. I'm ready when you are, man. Oh, you messaged me. It's all good. My shit's still fucking laggy. You stay king, please, because I'm a laggy bitch.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying it was the Dr. Pepper Red Bull.
Yeah, nah. This is booze. But yeah, there's fourth person. Welcome, whomever. I suck as Ash. I am Ash as playing Ash. Yeah, no, I'm ass Ash? Yeah. Oh, I'm guessing you played Kale their game with Michelle? No, it was a good one. Aurora did a great job being a sneaky bitch. But, yeah, I know. You did good damage, but no disrespect. While you did good damage, most of the times you caught me, other people had me at, like, less than 30% health, and I'm like, well, here comes Kale to just wing flap fuck. Shit happens. It was a good game, though. I'm not great at Ash anymore. They changed it. I can't do my burn build anymore and be effective. Oh, give me Brand, please.
That's why that's what I'll do.
I mean, you don't have to. You don't have to.
No, I would absolutely take up Shen because I know how to.
You can take him if you want. I'm not good. God damn it. Either of us could have fucking played that. I was wondering why you were so upset, and I was like, oh, this is why he's upset. Fucking shit.
You're lagging a little bit.
I told you. Like, I don't understand. It really hates when I use Streamlabs. It really does. League is just like, you have Demon Egg? Fuck you. I think it's probably because it's trying to, like, my CPU's older. It doesn't hit 5 gigahertz or anything. I got a ton of cores, but I don't have insane speed. Oh, I got Honor 5? Oh, shit. Thank you!
Oh.
But...
Hey, Honor 5 gang.
Yeah. Well, I've also just not played. I'm almost always Honor 5. But, like... I was chatting with Glenn, and I just told him... And I messaged him today. I was like, hey, do you mind if I, like... use some of the swag? Like, I don't know if he'd like... he probably wouldn't care if I just poured liquor and booze into the coffee mug and drank it. I clicked, I swear. It's laggy. But I clicked it late.
You're fine.
I clicked that one late.
Catch up.
No. But, like, he probably won't care at all, but I ask him anyways. Bugger. I'm sorry. I ask him anyways, like, just in case, because I don't want to be putting someone else's logo on my stream, even though my stream's, like, absolutely as tiny as it gets. And I don't know why it's so laggy. I do think it's my CPU. It's like 4.2 gigahertz is now seen as a slower speed.
I mean, yeah.
But 24 cores is pretty solid.
Okay. Let's hope it works this time. Oh. I don't think it will be nice.
What? I have clicked this fucking thing 4 or 5 times. You need to just watch stream. I'll spam it. I'll fucking spam it.
You did. Oh my god. Oh, it's only getting worse.
Told you. What the
You
actual
League in the spare time?
fuck?
Because I'm looking at your stream. It says look, add any friends yet or whatever. So you might want to reset it.
Yeah. Wow. I play one game of League and just get fucked over by it.
It just doesn't like me, I guess.
No, it ain't you. Let me just check my. Yeah, I've got like 6 to 8 cores that are not getting well utilized. Meanwhile, I've got my first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me just see here. Yeah. 5 of my first 6 cores are basically at 80%.
Cool.
Yeah. And it wouldn't help me if I turned off hyperthreading either. So, like, if somehow magically you could turn off hyperthreading and double your speed of the cores, that'd be fantastic. But that's not how this works. I mean, I have a Ryzen 9 3900X, 12 core. Right? That's not a slouch. And yet, League is still just taking a shit. I only ever use like 17 to 19 gigs of RAM.
So, oh my gosh.
Huh?
Mine holds at least 5 gigs at most, or 8. No, it holds 8 gigs.
I run a lot of shit in the background. Mind you, I'm streaming. I have NVIDIA Broadcast, which is like a crappy AI version of assistance for a few things. My GPU is running a little slow. Let me just check and see.
Okay, I just got many honored skins.
Cool.
Okay, that was weird. I just look at my inventory and suddenly acquired in 2025 just skyrocket. Shed Malzahar Aksham.
What the fuck? It says I can't join a queue. I'm gonna try to join you. See if it'll let me.
Yeah, I have timer still.
Oh, god damn it. I'm sorry, man. That's the height of stupid. Honestly.
It's unfortunate. There's nothing you can do about it.
No, I just clicked the shit out of it. Oh, I've talked with you on politics, and I've talked to some other people on politics. I got a question for you. Are you interested enough, or like, do you think anyone else that you know of would be interested enough to sit down and just like watch videos on YouTube and digest them together? Do you think that would be something people would enjoy?
I mean, people who I know.
Well, I mean, I know that there's I have a couple people here who seem kind of interested in some of it, because like I don't want to hate on people. I'll be harsh, but that's only just because, like, you know, not to quote, you know, insensitive assholes, but facts don't care.
Honestly, I believe in that sometimes, only to maybe, like, how do I phrase this? Only to get myself out of trouble, basically, but like also to prove a point. Because people rely too much on facts, and that's what.
What do you mean they rely too much on facts?
I'm not gonna say I'm free of this myself, but I rely on like facts to give me answers to everything. So if.
So what do you validate as a fact?
Proven by at least someone or multiple sources. Like, imagine like Trump did something and there was a rumor about like, oh, he's gonna do this next. I don't care what he might do. I only care if he does it. So
if someone says to you, no, mind you, let me just clarify something real fast. When it comes to the legality, what's up?
I just had to check the time. Sorry.
You're good. No stress. When it comes to the legality, like let's say someone tried to threaten you, and there was no way they would ever possibly be able to actually do the thing they said they wanted to do. The law goes into how specific are they and how likely are they to actually achieve the goal. Like, are they capable of it? If someone who can't afford to buy graham crackers says, I'm going to drop a nuke on your ass at 5:30 p.m. Sunday, the 26th of April next year. Well, they're pretty fucking specific as to when. Wherever you are at that time, next year, at that time, on that day. It's super specific. But it's pretty unrealistic, right?
Yeah, very
but
unrealistic.
If someone says...
buy graham crackers.
Yeah. Like, they no way they've got access to a nuke, right? In theory, at least. But it sounds ridiculous. It sounds insane. But if someone says... I'm going to put a bullet in your head when you walk your daughter down the aisle tomorrow. I've written your name on the round. Be seeing you. That carries a lot more weight, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's both specific and potentially feasible.
Potentially. I mean, yeah, unless
That's within reach from.
you've
a lot
already
of people.
gained stuff to prevent that.
Like what? Like it or not,
what if
but
it's like
failure to communicate already got a bullet within an ear's length of Trump's head. Literally, failure to
guess.
communicate from local police and the Secret Service is why that happened. There were police in the building underneath him. No one looked up there. The sniper who killed that guy, only reason he didn't shoot sooner is because they didn't have clearance to shoot until he pulled the trigger.
Now, wait. That's stupid.
Yeah, the sniper actually took it on his own accord. He held fire. He
So
could have
there
put the
could've
guy
been-
down before he ever pulled the trigger.
But there's still the risk of it, and that's stupid.
The risk of what?
The risk of well, I'm not a political figure. I'm gonna say this because I'm in the middle of it, but Trump is lucky that he didn't get his head shot off.
He is. But and what, like, look, let me be clear. I don't like Trump, but let's think about this objectively. The reason that happened is the police failed to inspect the building. They failed to secure the roof. They were in the building underneath the guy. They were around him. They knew about him well before he ever pulled the trigger. He should have been stopped by every reasonable metric. Every single one. The only reason he wasn't dead before he, did die is simply because of the fact that the sniper who had an eye on him was, one, focusing on the rest of the area, and two, did not have clearance to kill him.
I feel like you have, well, I would say you'd have clearance on if someone's trying to kill your leader.
But how do you know it's not another, how do you know that guy's not on your side? You go to 50 different events with people who have long rifles in your area, and you're working with groups that maybe aren't exactly up to the caliber of the Secret Service on most of them. You're sharing your security perimeter with people who aren't up to Secret Service standards. So maybe you need to expect that some knucklehead's going to be up there with a counter sniper rifle from local dumb, bumfuck Egypt police force, right? Stupid people do stupid stuff. That marksman, because of failures of communication and silence on the lines between the agencies, they did not communicate effectively at all. They just didn't. They stopped talking. Questions weren't asked when they should have been. Assumptions were made when they should not have been. This is a categorical failure on every single level of security. And the reason it's important to catch it, even though don't get me wrong, I don't like violence. I'd love Trump to be gone. It would be very convenient if he had been gone that way. Or any way. Actually, that way would probably be the worst one, because it's just not what I believe in.
Yeah.
But hopefully, all going well, there's going to be another president. Even if it's a Republican or some independent who's absolutely insane and I hate them just as much or more than Trump. Or some liberal that I hate just as much or more than Trump. Again, I'm independent. I don't give a shit. It's simple. These guys got to be able to keep people safe. They didn't do a very good job. Anyways, but talking to Glenn was crazy, because on these topics, most people I talk to don't know as much as I do. or aren't as intimately familiar with the specifics. Why? Because I looked it up that day, and what kind of normal person does that? They just fucking don't. You can come up with something that I haven't looked up today, and I'll be the normal person who's confused. That's just normal. But Glenn has lived this for so long and studied it for so long and not had to study company policies or terms and conditions or customer bullshit. He's had other dramas, certainly so many, but not the same. He's been able to focus on this, and he's an expert, man. I think the biggest thing with him is he's a good communicator. Yes, I'm infatuated with someone that I just met. But, like, imagine listening to someone for a couple of years and seeing them in person, hearing them speak just a part of a word, and knowing 1,000% that's exactly who you think it is because you heard their voice. It's unreal.
I was about going to Trump voice here for a second.
It's okay.
My voice is getting caught because I just ate a popsicle. But I just kind of want to talk to him. I just want to see how long a talk of ours could go.
How long
like,
what
no
could go?
Time restraints. A talk of ours could go. Like,
you and me?
No time restraints. No nothing. No,
You and me?
Meeting plan. Yeah, well, we can go forever.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the same thing with him. That's the thing. But he's more. He's much more of an expert on the things that are relevant. Like one thing that I pointed out to him that really he mentioned something, and I had to bring a little bit of value in terms of my ignorance, because sometimes the best value you can bring is perspective, even if that perspective comes from ignorance. And so, for example, let me just look this up real fast. I want to get the right names. Oh, real quick before I do that, I want to read you something, and this is actually related, okay? Let me pull up a couple things. I'll try to do this in 40 seconds. We'll definitely get it by the time it loads. What was it? Are you familiar with an administrative warrant?
Not off the top of my head. I'm a little tired, but
I would not expect any normal person to know this. Let me just read the AI overview from Google. All right. Administrative warrants, while used to enforce regulatory violations, have limitations compared to judicial warrants. We're good to go. Timer's over. They don't allow entry into private spaces without consent, which means the police can't force their way in if they have an administrative warrant. Okay? Their scope is generally narrower, so limited in multiple ways, and focused on specific regulatory violations rather than criminal investigations. They also typically don't permit the arrest of individuals not named in the warrant, unless independent probable cause exists. So, you know, I'm here to try to arrest Tommy for being a drug smuggler, and his buddy decides to shoot my partner, assuming I'm the police, right? In that.
Yeah.
All right. I'll take that one. Ooh, Morgana, if you don't want her.
Morgana's up.
I tried. I had literally clicked something else right as the timer rotated around.
Play Ash.
No. Not again. I'm sure I could play Ash against a different team and do well, but like, nah.
You need a warm-up game for that.
Nah. Where's my shit? There we go. I'm not gonna go damage. I'm just gonna fucking rapid fire machine gun.
Ability haste.
Yeah. Fuck you.
No.
Dude, like, I have had ultra tanks come at me, and all I do is just shield teammates, stun the enemy, hit them with a area damage, and I just rotate. Stun area, shield friend, stun area. Just keep the cycle going. And I've seen an ultra tank go after a medium tank and still lose. And it's the funniest shit. I am not good with Mel.
Should I?
I mean, I can. I guess I can Soraka if I have to.
Play Garen.
Oh, I can Garen, dumbass. Do you like Soraka?
I've never played Soraka, so
What?
I might as well.
Is there anyone else here you prefer? Okay.
All of these are terrible options, if you want me to be honest. I've
Okay.
never played a...
Okay, so Soraka, what you need to do is quickly. I might even start with that. What's that one horn option that gives you more health? Guardian's horn, something like that.
I know what you're talking about. I know what horn you're talking about.
Yeah, the horny horn that heals you, the Healy horn. Yeah, make sure you get the Healy horn. Yeah, get the Healy blowy horn. And what you want to do with that is make sure that you don't lose too much health. What you're going to do is a lot of the things that you send out will take health of your own. If you heal a teammate, it's your health you're giving them. Okay?
I know this from like Briar. Don't worry.
Well, this is not like Briar. Because if you land a hit...
Health is normal.
No, if you land a hit, you steal health from the enemy. Yeah. You can silence the enemy. You can do some stun. I think it's been, my brain is lacking on this, but
I don't think it's stun. I think it's just silence.
Yeah, it might just be stun and area damage, but you can steal health. And when you steal health, what's going to happen is you can give it to teammates. I have an auto heal, so like I can kind of get fucked and be fine.
I think they already nerfed Garen already.
I'm not surprised.
Garen won't work.
I'm not surprised.
And his...
Oh!
I'm pretty sure his cooldown has already went... his spinning cooldown went from 9 to 6, I think.
By the way, real quick, before we load, I just want to read something to you. This is directly from the Constitution, from the Senate.gov. Okay? All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person or life. Now, mind you, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. So, I want to make a point of something. There were 3 points there that mattered to me in the point that I want to make. All persons, which means everyone, right? Unless it's a dog, right? Or a cat, so they don't count. Nor shall any state deprive, so any person of life, so any person, same, right? And at the end it goes, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction equal protection. So the point that I want to make is very painfully simple. You are a citizen if you're born here and human, right?
Yes.
You have due process if you are human. You have equal rights if you are human. Current administration has been trying to go after birthright citizenship to say that they're trying to change the rules as to who's a citizen, which means they can change the rules to, if you're not a citizen based on who's born here, they're trying to say that it's only the people that were slaves who qualify.
That doesn't seem right.
I know, and I agree. Don't get greedy. Careful.
I feel like this is a bot match. This is definitely a bot match, I think.
No. They fucked up hard, and they are going to regroup. Be ready for that.
No, listen. Like, they didn't have the medals above their names. So
Maybe.
That's what I'm thinking.
Maybe. They could be bots, but they're probably more than likely newbies. If we're lucky. Which is kind of sad. Oh, Nautilus. But we also have
The true level of 458 is showing.
Yeah. I need to move. I'm dead.
Yeah,
Either way, see?
Very weird.
Yeah, it's okay. So the point that I wanted to make is a really simple one. Nice. The point that I wanted to make is a really simple one. If you can control who counts as a citizen by saying, like, I have a question. What makes you a citizen in your mind?
A citizen for the United States or in general?
For the United States. What do you mean in general? What else is there?
For a citizen, either be born or be properly through the citizenship.
What does that mean to you?
What does that mean? It means that I think of you as a... Wait, what?
What does properly through citizenship mean? You mean properly naturalized? Like you were born in a different country and then you went through the process to become a citizen? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Because this isn't meant to be too difficult. I promise. This one I want to give you. I don't want to make you struggle. I really don't. I just want to get to a simple thing. So born here. You view being born here as a huge part of being a citizen.
Not... Well... I wouldn't... Well, yeah. I don't know how to describe what I'm thinking.
But there's no ifs, ands, or buts in this one. You either do or don't believe that. I'm not trying to be difficult. I'm just trying to be straightforward.
I mean, I believe it with, like, some different stuff in it, but I don't know how to describe the other stuff.
Okay, so what would it be? Like, how you came across the border?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, no. Like, if you...
It's not wrong.
If you
Let me explain something. How you feel and what you believe is not wrong. The whole purpose of this conversation is to learn something. So just... don't want to make you uncomfortable in that way, alright? I want to make that clear. This is gonna hurt. It did hurt.
I need to refresh my gold.
Whoopsies. So here's where I'm at. The number one thing that makes someone a U.S. citizen is they were born here. My family's been here for 4 generations. Alright, well, is that how far you want to move the goalpost? Because what if someone says 5? Now you're fucked. That's what you get for being an asshole. Fucked. That's too many bullets in my face.
Okay. With
that fucking worked.
I wouldn't technically count that if you were here longer than someone else. I wouldn't count you better than another person. I would count you the same.
So you don't take issue with the equality side of things. I respect that. That's fine. But the question is, what qualifies you to be the normal? What qualifies you to be a citizen?
Through, like, not being born here, or...
So the only thing that... Well, that doesn't matter. Let's say you're born here. What else qualifies you to be a citizen in that case?
I think, like...
Absolutely nothing.
I remember my high school.
Under the Constitution, the only thing that makes you and me a citizen is we were born here. As far as I know. Yeah. So what if that's taken away from us?
Sorry, my government class was...
That's okay. What if that's taken away from us? What if that doesn't matter anymore? That means someone else can just choose to say, fuck you, I don't like you. And if they can say, fuck you, I don't like you, they can choose who can vote.
I mean, yeah. If you have the First Amendment, yeah, technically you have the right to vote as well.
No. If they say you're not a citizen, you've lost every single right that matters. Except for due process. Remember that part of due process I just mentioned? No person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process. Citizens don't need that.
know, always gonna hurt.
Yep.
He's about to ace.
They're gonna try. But I can eat more than they realize. Careful, guys. Don't greed. I'm healing.
I got 2 items on my first death.
Nice.
God, I was stockpiling.
I'm just over here tanking like a motherfucker and making them all mad. But my point is simple. The only thing that, like, there are a few things that you retain even if you're not a citizen. But due process is one of them, okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So every illegal immigrant is entitled to a hearing. Foundationally, I just want to make it clear. Hearings are not long trials. They're short.
Well, it depends on how it goes.
No,
Standard, but
no, it doesn't. A hearing is effectively a single sit-down that says yes or no, we do or do not have the right to deprive this person of their life, liberty, or property. That's it.
Oh, I understand the topic. Okay. I understand what you're getting at. I'm so sorry. I thought you were talking about something else.
Well, I want to make it clear. A hearing is one sit down.
I understand what you're talking about. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But it's not a trial. No, that's rough. So a hearing, shit happens. Hey, we all disconnect sometimes, right? But a hearing is not a full trial. It's quick. It's not fast. It's the minimum, right? It's all it is.
Yeah.
And that's gorgeous. I don't think Nautilus realized who was behind him. I'm a little bit of a problem.
I have 1 kill and 36
Come on, Lee
assists.
Sin.
I think I'm more of a problem with 36 assists.
You're getting there.
There you go. Would you like a heal?
Meh. I just want a dead tower.
Okay.
So here's the thing. All the people that were sent to, man, I'm gonna mess up the country name right now because I'm really tired.
You're fine.
To that the prison. Let me just see here. El Salvador. All the immigrants sent to El Salvador. I want to ask a very fundamental question. What makes a fact in a democracy?
In a democracy?
Mm-hmm.
In a democracy would be more than one person would agree, or one more in a democracy.
So a court, maybe.
In a vote. A vote would have been...
A vote from a court of people.
I understand the point that you're getting at.
Which is what? We decide facts by our votes. Not
by bias.
But no. We decide facts based on... So remember, the victor always writes history. Okay? So the books we read are by the people that won. That's bias in that, if you want to talk about bias. But the most important thing to me...
Okay, I will admit that not all books were written by victors.
The ones that didn't get burned probably were. But Yeah,
I'm not trying to argue on that topic for too long.
Yeah, that's okay. But the books that survive, so sure, the loser can write a book, and if it stays in the underground and doesn't get pulled up, then fine, maybe it lives. But the victor usually gets to choose what history really is. For example, in China, Tiananmen Square doesn't exist. The history of Tiananmen Square is not there. Tens of thousands of people died. It was a horrific slaughter. But if you were in China and talked about that, you go to jail. To silence you. So that you're not able to share that history. To erase it from memory. So within 2 generations, nobody remembers because everyone who spoke was taken away. It's a brutal fact. Alright?
Yeah.
I'm not here to judge or hate on it. I don't like it. Sure. It's uncomfortable. Sure. Oh. Time Lord's on. Sweet. But... I had 1 heart. I gave it to Soraka. Haha. I didn't derp as hard as I thought I was going to. But... my point is simple. If... Oh shit, I went S-. Fuck yeah. If, a second here, sorry. Clearly my brain cannot do 2 things at once at this point in time. And I don't want to do either poorly.
I understand that too well right now.
Alright, we're good. So, let me just pull up my tabs. So, what I wanted to point out is, all persons is a... I'm ready to go, yeah. So the 14th Amendment, Section 1, mentions persons effectively 3 times, okay? All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens, right? Nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process. Even a hearing, just a single one. Sit down, think about it, bring in the courts, bring in a judge. The judge can decide whether or not, you are an illegal immigrant or a citizen. That's all that does. Have you heard of a probable cause hearing?
Yeah.
What does that mean to you? I clicked it. I swear I clicked it twice. I'm trying. It hasn't refreshed. It went through once.
My sweet God.
What the actual fuck? I'm not allowed to play League.
Do you want to watch me do it?
I don't,
But
but I can. I could also just hop on Destiny and not deal with this bullshit.
I mean, yeah, but
I guess I'll just go back into this conversation. Like, fucking 2 hours? Are you kidding me, dude?
we will definitely talk for 2 hours.
We can, but I gotta go to bed at some point.
If
So
you're going to Destiny, I mean, you can. If you
yeah,
want.
nah, I don't need to. But let me just point this out. 14th Amendment, okay, talks about persons. So would you qualify? I mean, we can find other definitions. I'm sure courts can define persons in different ways, but I would expect human is probably good enough stand-in, right? So some people would argue that immigrants are not human. My argument is, you're not an immigrant until you're found to be an immigrant. You're not a criminal until you're found guilty as a criminal, right? Innocent until proven guilty. It's kind of important, right? Which means the government's got to prove that you had that ounce of crack on you before they throw you away.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you might find it necessary to prove some...
bias.
Like what?
courts.
How so?
Jury, even though they have to be unbiased, they
Well, no, juries are biased as
choose
hell.
biased people.
But how do you feel a
Yeah.
court might be biased?
Due to the fact that other, I don't know how I'm saying this lawyer term, or like trying to present this, it's just a normal conversation. Due to the fact that it has a reputation, or those people have reputations for doing bad things.
So who are the?
Same reason.
I do need to be clear, because not because I'm trying to attack your point. Although it would be an easy way to attack your point if I just wanted to win points, right? If we were going for a scoring system, Glenn could destroy me, and I could probably be unfair to you right now. So I just want to be clear.
Yeah.
Those people. You mean a defendant?
The jury, I meant.
See, okay, sorry. So the jury is biased. That's true.
100%.
Okay, what else in court is biased? If you want to go down that direction, what else in court would be biased?
Well, they don't try to, but every single part of it is biased.
Inherently, there are some things that are biased. You're right. You're absolutely right. And so here's the thing. Certain prosecution teams have a over 98% success rate. They only take slam dunk cases, which therefore a lot of times would lead a judge to say, well, I've agreed with them every single time thus far, except for that 2 years ago. So I'm really looking to hear how this guy's going to get himself out of the pickle, which unfortunately flips the script in an unfair way, in an unconstitutional way. Right? Equal rights. And so this is one of the things that I mentioned to Glenn and when I spoke with him. I told him very clearly. He was very upset that a judge was recently arrested. Okay. He was very upset that a judge was recently arrested. And I was kind of curious to hear his point, and he actually waved the paper. I didn't read it. He didn't read it to me. For the points of conversation, it wasn't necessary. Neither of us were trying to convince each other of someone's innocence, although that does matter. I do want to understand more detail on this. I really do. But for the sake of conversation, it didn't matter. I don't know who joined. It's laggy.
I think it was you. Oh.
Eagles joined. But the point that I would say is this. He was really upset that this judge was arrested with a flimsy-ass justification. And with a really crappy... By the way, that was a person on my list, is Eagles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have him.
It's all good. With a really, really, really crappy justification for the crime. Did you hear about the judge that was arrested not too long ago?
Which one?
ICE arrested a judge. I believe it was. Let me just double check.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
The accusation is that this person...
I stumbled through it.
Oh, actually, let me just check something real quick. I'm gonna try to fix something real quick. I did realize one thing that might be part of an issue. I am trying out a new oh, welcome back. That's set there. Part of privacy. It does impact some of what they do, but not that much. So the thing that I think would matter is this. There was a judge who was arrested for supposedly ushering a wife-beater illegal immigrant to a different exit so that they might not get caught by ICE. So, from an objective perspective, saying it that way sounds kind of loaded. I don't have any other way to say respectfully that that is an emotional way of phrasing the message that someone might want to bring. I just don't. That is purely based on emotion and a strong level of bias that I truly don't respect. Yep, League does not like that one. It took it a while to figure out, which is funny. So, here's a part that I think should stand out. ICE was coming after someone at court. Okay? The person that they went after. Someone's popping at a stream. Hey, Eagle. Sorry, buddy. We're talking politics because my league fucking hates me. So, I hope you're having a good afternoon or good evening. Again, my league hates me and I'm sorry. But thanks for popping in, dude. And at this point in time, I'm probably going to conflate a couple things. Let's see here. So, are you aware of the immunity that the president has against being charged for crimes while he's doing his job? Huh?
Wasn't that new?
He is immune, and it is new as of the last few months.
Yeah, that's why.
Well, judges are also immune for what they do in the process of their job. In their courthouse and courtroom, more specifically. They have extreme breadth and control of their courtroom specifically, more so than anything else. And that is a really important thing. So, with that in mind, I would say this. Anyone who thinks that the current president should be free from prosecution for doing whatever he feels like needs to understand that a judge simply allowing someone to leave out of a different door, which, by the way, goes to a hallway that still goes back to where the ICE agents are waiting. Like, there was no way out of that courtroom that the ICE agents weren't monitoring. Because it all goes out to the exact same singular hallway, which is a funnel and choke point. Okay? A judge was arrested for letting someone out a slightly different exit. Specifically because the ICE agents wanted to arrest this guy, who willingly showed up for an immigration case. The guy willingly showed up for a hearing that he was entitled to. Dude, League doesn't even want to open right now. What the fuck? Alright, Riot. I can end your task, bitch. He willingly showed up to court because he had to.
Willingly and had to are not the same word for that.
Yeah. They're not the
I want
same.
to phrase that a little.
No. I actually think saying those two... Because if he didn't, he would have broken the law, and by his own failure, become illegal. If someone else does something wrong, are you suddenly a criminal?
No.
So if you fuck up and break the law and get convicted for it, are you a criminal?
I mean, if I did it, then yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you were being a little bit more.
No,
I thought you were being a little bit different in that. I guess it
I'm
was
being
just a
very
straightforward answer.
direct. Very direct. You are
I'm
accountable
used to
for
the side
your
question.
decisions. Yeah, I'm not trying to mess with you. I promise. The point will be still made harshly, but I'm not trying to mess with you. You are still to be held accountable for your own mistakes, just as me, just the same as me. Everyone else, we all are, right? So, if this guy didn't show up to court, he'd be held accountable for his own mistake. No reasonable person's going to be saying that that's evil. I don't think.
No.
But that's kind of the point, though. So the guy showed up to his court hearing because the only way he could go forward while staying in the good faith of the government is to go to the court hearing. To avoid making a mistake and having liability on his own right, that's what he had to do. So that's what he did. And so a judge found out that these ICE agents were trying to arrest him while he showed up to be responsible for his court hearing. The ICE agents showed their warrant, which is, remember I read about that administrative warrant, the really limited one? The one that they can't force their way in?
Isn't that the Fourth Amendment?
Unreasonable search and seizure, that could be part of it, but an administrative warrant is limited. A judicial warrant means they can, with limitations I don't know, so I want to make my ignorance clear. That's the bounds of my knowledge. I just read a thing, I know just that, because I don't want to stretch and make assumptions. Assumptions are dangerous, assumptions are bad, right?
Yeah.
But this guy, by the way, do I still have a timer on your screen?
Absolutely.
Fuck. This guy did what he could to try to follow the law. ICE agents took advantage of that to try to arrest him anyways. Just go back to the screen so people can see my fucking hate screen right now where I can't do shit. But so ICE agents took advantage of it, and then they, it was a little while later. I think it was a day or two later, maybe 3 days at most, that judge got arrested. And they didn't just politely take her, in a way that people wouldn't see. They perp walked her. They cuffed her, walked her in front of cameras, took pictures, and then shared it on Twitter. Which, mind you, is against most government agencies' policies to show images of people being arrested before they're convicted. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, pretty much any prosecutorial branch of the government doesn't do that. Paparazzi will do the shit that they want to do. They're not beholden to the same rules, but government agencies have codes of ethics, and that's part of it. And they shared that immediately. They made claims on Twitter that were provable to be false. Head of the FBI really did not do well in some recent congressional hearings where he was questioned. One of my favorites, mind you, this guy is only ancillary to this problem, but he's well representative of the skill level of the people in this. Are you interested in hearing what that sounded like?
Absolutely.
Alright, fuck it. Let's just go to Politics Bullshit 101. Alright, let me pull this up. Oh man.
We have so much time to waste, so might as well take the longest way possible.
Oh god damn it, I hate this. Okay, fine. How much time is left? Like an hour and a half?
Hour 42.
Fuck.
I'm literally just gonna use a stopwatch to see what time it's gonna be.
See, I just don't trust a lot of these titles. There are a couple people here that I do trust, but like a lot of it is sensationalist. I don't like it. So why don't we just take a step back, and I will pull a video from 2 hours ago. We'll shift topic, and I'll just change the. I'll swap the stream out. Can I change the stream title?
Okay, that would be at 2:12. Okay. 2:12 a.m. Then we can start playing League again. That's a horrifying number.
Let's switch that to that. That was updated. Let me see here.
Well,
I
actually just keep an alarm on me.
Yeah, I'm just gonna leave fucking YouTube as it is. I can't change it. So I'm gonna preface this by saying this guy is. Let me just make sure my YouTube is not gonna dox anything I don't want. Cool. This guy's name is Brian Tyler Cohen, and he does a lot with. Let me turn off the music. You know what? We can leave that in the background. That's not too distracting. So Brian Tyler Cohen does a lot of great stuff. It's funny that he's in a fucking white t-shirt right now, but he's usually in a suit, really pressed, really clean. And he's actually talking to Glenn Kirshner in this video. So let's see what he's got.
Some breaking news here as far as the Supreme Court is concerned. We have another unexpected rebuke of the Trump administration in a 7-2 ruling by this far-right Supreme Court. Can you explain what just happened?
So real quick, are you familiar with how and why the Supreme Court is could be viewed as a far-right Supreme Court?
Here and there.
Long story short, for the last 50 years, Republicans have been very successful in getting more people on the Supreme Court than Democrats. Unfortunately, in our situation as the United States is, we have two choices, one of two sides. Sometimes people will break with party to vote for conscience or vote for any other thing. Sometimes it's greed, sometimes it's belief, sometimes it's religion. But at the end of the day, most of the times, they usually stick with their original group. Okay?
Yeah, Brian, here's the big takeaway, the blockbuster headline. There's a pattern emerging where it seems like 7 of the 9
This is Glenn.
Supreme Court justices actually care about the constitutional rights of people and are showing that they're willing to force the Trump administration to comply with those constitutional rights. And that is something that I don't think any of us could take for granted, because what we just saw was a 7-2 Supreme Court opinion where 7 of the justices said, no, we are going to keep an injunction in place so that no immigrants, no aliens, regardless of their status or lack of status, may be deported by the Trump administration until they get their full due process rights and, importantly, until they get to litigate whether the Trump administration is even entitled to deport them at all under the Alien Enemies Act. So this is something of a constitutional twofer for the people that the Trump administration has been trying to round up and hurry out of the country before these folks could assert their constitutional and statutory rights in court. So this is a really big win. And most importantly, from this old prosecutor's perspective, it is showing that a pattern is emerging of 7 justices, because there were only 2 who still were willing to say, we don't give a rat's ass. That's not exactly how they put it in their dissent. We don't care one whit about the due process constitutional rights of these immigrants, nor do we care if Donald Trump should be able to claim that we're being invaded, basically a military incursion into the United States by the country of Venezuela. We don't care about any of it. Who were those two justices? Not hard to figure out. It was Justice Alito. It was Justice Thomas. But here's the thing, Brian. The majority
real
opinion,
quick,
which was unsigned, but it was...
That's pretty information dense. Are you tracking with this so far?
I'm trying.
Do you have any questions? You can full
Right now,
like
please.
there's an opportunity you can interrupt. Like, so
Absolutely not.
you know I want you to. How am I supposed to help you? Like, look, if I'm gonna sit here and do this, I'm gonna be honest with you. I can just go through it and hate on people, but like, especially if I'm gonna leave this up, which I may or may not. I don't know. I would make a simple point. Do you know who Justice Alito or Justice Thomas are? Do you know who they are?
They sound familiar. I just can't put a face to them.
Let me let's just throw that up
I'm
because
so
I
sorry,
can.
can't remember them.
You're okay. Incognito is not great, but it's better for streaming.
Yeah.
Alito,
Sorry,
and I
not
spelled
the
it
doctor.
terribly. That's horrific. Oh yeah, that's kind of the thing. Ooh, let's figure out what's a fire hydrant. Can you guys tell me what's a fire hydrant? Swiper, no swiping. So check this guy out, right? He's gonna be there for a while, and the reality is, unfortunately, with a lot of these guys, who this page may seem pretty balanced, but let's take a look at Dobbs. Since the Constitution, which is an incredibly old document, makes no reference to abortion, no such right is implicitly protected. Because something that didn't exist when it was written wasn't mentioned, it's not protected.
So are they, with the protected, are they protecting it in a good way? Like, oh, hey, it's not supposed to happen? Or are they protecting it like saying, you can do it?
No, he said the Dobbs decision was in reference to specifically in reference to abortion. Does a woman have a right to? I just realized I have a lot of background noise on my microphone. Give me a second. You guys don't need to hear unnecessary crap in the background. Oh, that's why. There you go. Does that sound better?
Frames on a Google page. Ooh.
Does that sound better or worse?
You sound like you're in a. You sound like you just downgrade your mic. I'll be honest.
Okay. So does this sound better?
Yeah.
Okay.
You sound more clearer. The other one is like a Turtle Beach.
I got you. Yeah, no worries. So, anyways, so the thing is this. I don't want to hate on these guys. I really don't. The most free, the one that I feel the most free to hate on is Justice Thomas. You heard him mentioned a minute ago. All right. So, this guy has been getting free travel across the world by billionaires. Oof, that white. Sorry. Ugh, my eyes. You can see it in the camera. I'm fucking washed out.
I can't wait for that to happen.
Oh, it hurts.
I'm just waiting for it. Flashbang out.
Yeah, flashbang out is right.
I don't have I have a Yahoo thing. I just whenever I try and like go and like at like 3 a.m. I just get
Yeah. So, nearly 2-year investigation by Democratic senators of Supreme Court ethics details more luxury travel by Justice Thomas. Here's the thing. And please look. Feel free to research anything I say and tell me if you think I'm wrong. I will research it and tell you why I think I'm right. But that's fair and honest debate, right? With this, Thomas and the Supreme Court has said that they are abiding by all the codes of ethics. That, by the way, they have none. And they've said they don't think they need a code of ethics.
they don't think they need a code of ethics.
Yeah. Because they're
That
above such
sounds
things.
Illegal.
It's not. Because the court says it is.
Oh.
Did that just break your brain?
I was so confused there for a second. Like, how can you think you're above the law? I'm like, well,
Because they are the court, and they say they're not. Or they say they are. They're not saying they're above the law. They say they're above reproach. They're above anyone influencing their decisions. But there's no third party to hold them accountable. They are the thirdest of most third parties by theoretical governance in the courts.
They're gonna better figure out what the balance of power is very fast.
Why? How would that happen?
Because if they think they can continue to, I'm not trying to say I'm not trying to say this.
Who's going to hold them accountable?
If we're gonna go balance of powers,
Yeah. Who?
two branches.
Which ones? The ones that are completely controlled by the party that put them in their judicial seats, that is happy with the way they vote, or the guy that they've saved his ass more than once?
Yeah.
Who's going to hold him accountable?
I understand where you're coming from.
Nobody.
100%.
Nobody. Because they've played their cards well. Here's the fun part. Nobody's going to hold the court accountable. There's not. The court, though. The court is going to have to hold Trump accountable. To be blunt. Here's why. And they're going to hold certain members of Congress accountable. For example, Marjorie Taylor Greene has recently gone against Trump more than once. I don't know the specific examples, but I know that it has happened. And any small transgression of that magnitude, even if it's small, has ended people's careers. Okay? Because the group will protect itself. And if the group says Trump is our guy, then the group is going to protect him and not you, the lowly person. Okay?
Yeah.
She's going to have a really bad time. I don't like her. But I empathize with the fact she is up a creek. And some of the arguments she's occasionally made are somewhat reasonable, but most are not. Josh Hawley recently actually made an argument that I respect, even though I don't respect the guy at all. He's a Republican. And he got mad at the fact that the latest bill for budgeting raised the deficit $5 trillion. And part of it was cutting Medicaid, which would destroy the health care of the people in his district and make it impossible for him to get elected again. So here's my point. Greed is what our adversarial system relies on. By arresting, and this is going to start making sense. I know I'm weaving threads from way too far apart, and it's not genius. It's stupid, and it's tired. I'm not dumb enough to claim that. Sorry. Republicans do that. I don't. Republicans do. It's genius. He's weaving threads. Look at him. He's amazing. But I wanted to hit these points specifically to try to bring something together and say this. They arrested a judge out of turn. They didn't do it instantly because this person was a threat to society. They did it late, days later, specifically because it took a while for the decision to come down on a very weak stance, a weak prosecution. They really, their charges are.
So they still made a weak stance.
Yeah, because they didn't have anything to stand on. But they'll take every opportunity they can to get a picture into the news, so that the news can argue the case in the court of public opinion and not in the court of law. The objective is to keep at least 40% of the population blindly happy with them. So they only have to try to win 4 to 10% at most of a swing vote. Tracking with that so far?
Yes.
Cognitive dissonance would say, if you like something, oh, hey, third viewer, welcome. Sorry, we're in politics because I can't play video games. Cognitive dissonance would say, specifically, you need to accept that people will want to stick with things they love and will not want to turn away from them. So, put it like this. We'll get back to the video that's sitting in the background of my thing.
I want to bring something up. Remember the guy from last time? I'm not gonna bring him up at all, but like.
Yeah, and I still feel bad about him. I messaged you about that, didn't I?
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure that was you. Look, I don't feel bad about what I said, at least that I remember, unless I said something super douchey. Which I don't think I did.
I don't think it was.
I don't think I did, but here's the thing. I feel bad about being so aggressive to someone who was unarmed. That's unfair.
Yeah.
That's unreasonable. I don't want to do that to anybody. Bullying isn't decent no matter who you are. I won't respect that. I don't respect that. And that's all I have for that one. I feel bad though. So you were bringing that up for a point. Out of curiosity, what was it?
The cognitive dissonance.
Yeah. The forever victim. Yeah, absolutely. Professional victimhood is a thing. But here's what I find hilarious. That got a guy to a presidency. And it really is effective. It truly is. Especially if you're around people that like you, who want to believe in you. So criticizing the people that you like and giving a little bit of benefit of the doubt to the people you don't like is extraordinarily difficult and high energy intensive, but worthwhile in doing. Just occasionally to give benefit of the doubt to hear another opinion and get yourself out of an echo chamber. That has value. But my argument is this. We have an adversarial system based on greed. People like power. People like money. People like their own freedom. So, if that's the case, they went after a judge and said that they don't mind arresting any judges. In truth, that is a fundamental truth that should be accepted by all. You break the law, you get arrested. But in reality, judges hate getting arrested. And you best bring your A game if you're going after one of them. That is one of those imbalances. And I don't want to just leave it on Glenn's face. That's kind of weird. But understand that they went after judges. They said they're not above arresting Supreme Court judges. And they've done a lot that is now going to cost people votes at home. Congress can't ignore it. The judges can't ignore it. You're right. Balance of power needs to step in. The question is, will it, and how much damage is going to be required before greed takes over? How much burning is going to be required before the foundations have to rise back up to grow and say no? And that's the foundation of our government, is greed. So the justices don't want to lose their power.
I don't disagree any bit with that. I don't disagree with any.
Yeah, well, the justices don't want to lose their power, And Trump's trying to take power away from the judiciary. He's literally trying to write laws that are unconstitutional by executive order.
Then that's simple. Checks and balances.
He's trying to deny funds that were appropriated by Congress with executive order. If he can take...
Legal.
It is. Unless he gets away with it. The definition of illegal is it's against the law. Well, if the law is written to say that it can be done, then it's not illegal. If the law states, I can shoot your mom in the face, specifically at this date and this time, and I have a 60-second window to do it, well, as long as I'm at the right time, I'm good. If I get kicked in the nuts and I can't pull the trigger for another 30 seconds and I do it late, I'm fucked. Let's agree. I deserve at least a kick in the nuts for that. But the point is, the law, unfortunately, is what it says it is. And it's not valid unless enforced. That's why you need prosecutors. That's why you need people who are going to bring a case against a judge, even though no one else wants to. That's why I like Glenn. So, Thomas and Alito, the justices they just mentioned, are almost purely always voting for Republican policies. And they're coming up with excuses to say, well, you know, the Constitution didn't mention telling people about your IP address, therefore there's no defense of your IP address. The Constitution didn't say you should have Bitcoin in your wallet, so you have no right to Bitcoin. That's effectively what they argued. The Constitution does not explicitly protect your right to bodily autonomy and to control whether or not you have a child. So you no longer have the right to abortion. We're going to throw it back to the states, some of which have laws from the 1700s, or at least 1800s, 200 years old, minimum. A lot's changed in 2 years. We're better than that. So, might as well listen to these guys to see where they go. I just wanted to let you know that these guys really... The two people that he's commenting on saying they clearly voted this way was only because they clearly voted this way. They always do. They have received millions of dollars in bribes. Justice Thomas's mother's home was literally purchased by a multi-billionaire. She doesn't have to pay a thing ever again. The property next to hers was purchased to give her more space to just be comfortable and have silence around her. Yeah. These guys are literally flying on company dime across the world for vacations when they're not hearing cases. Marjorie Taylor Greene.
That sounds irresponsible.
But there's no ethics code. So it's not illegal.
I'm saying it is wrong.
Yeah.
Wrong
So
being my own personal choice.
I agree with you. So if that's the thing that you feel, how about this? How is it rectified? Well, you've got to impeach a judge if it's that bad. Well, what does it take to impeach a judge? It takes an act of Congress. A certain number of votes in the House and in the Senate. And much like a bill on Capitol Hill, most of them die without ever getting out of this little group, which I'm tired of, my mind is escaping, but and someone else is going to scream at me later, I'm sure, and I deserve it. Let me look it up because I'm dumb.
I won't scream at you.
Go for it. I deserve it.
No. You can forget stuff. I've forgotten way too much stuff today to be proud of.
Committee. That's the term. Committee. That's what I'm looking for. So bills don't often get out of committee. There are committees on hearings, committees on all these things, and they often don't get out of committee, right? So A committee is just a small group of Congress, a subset of Congress that needs to agree that it's worth their time as a larger group. So, an impeachment requires a pretty large percentage of Congress, House and Senate, to agree.
Isn't most of the percentage just mostly Republicans?
Yeah, they control both. They don't control one and then, oh, it died in the other. Oh, no. Made it halfway, though. No, they control both properly. The only way anything gets stopped early is if someone crosses the aisle from Republicans. And the latest budget bill got destroyed. So one thing I did want to mention, by the way, was I wanted to show you a video on I forget his name, something Ramaswamy. It's terrible. I'm sorry. I just don't remember his name properly. However, he is the head of the FBI, and he got talked down to it like a little child by a congresswoman because he doesn't even have a proper budget. He knew he was being called. He knew he'd be there. He knew what the questions would be, generally, and what the topic was. He still didn't have a budget. He still didn't have an answer. So in 2026... FBI budget doesn't really exist. So all these people who are lone wolf around town, hateful people who want to hurt others, less and less of them are going to get caught. There was a guy with an extremely large quantity of explosives in Virginia who was caught a couple months ago. He was missing fingers. The reason he was caught is because it was reported as a tip. And people investigated and found him. And they found a huge operation on his property. The reality is that that can happen all over, and it requires resources to track down. Resources that require money and funding from Congress.
But when you don't have that...
Because your leader doesn't even put it in a request. Yeah. It's funny how that works. Might as well get back to this, see what they're up to. Vivek is his name. Vivek Ramaswamy, which is funny because all the white guys from the Republicans don't like Indians. Sorry, they don't like DEI. Well, this guy did not earn it. So I guess he's DEI. He didn't earn it. He can't pull a budget. He can't lead for shit. And yet they're firing so many people. By the way, side note, if they fired a giant chunk of the actual people that work in the government, they would only impact our budget by at most 10-15%. By getting rid of almost every government employee. 10-15%. Yet they want to cut the budget claiming by like 60-80%. Doesn't work. You could make the government defunct and still not make that much of a savings. And yet somehow they still need $5 trillion added to the deficit. Even Republicans are hating on that. They don't even have a request for the FBI and they're still adding $5 trillion to the deficit. And that's because
it just sounds like debt is going to catch up to us as a country soon.
So a couple countries have already actually said that they're going to call our debt in if we continue to tariff them. Yeah. You know who one of the biggest holders of our debt is? That Trump has recently been shitty to? Japan. And China.
I don't think Japan
Yep.
wants to fuck with us after.
Nope. Japan owns our debt. We are their bitch financially. So does China.
Okay, there. You said that in such a Trump way. China.
I don't
You
care.
said that in such a.
That's fine.
It was.
But
funny.
it's simple.
It was funny.
It's simple. Fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
And just remember with the tariffs,
Sorry,
the only people that can afford to pay the tariffs are the people that already have money. The only people that are going to survive the tariffs are the big companies. You know,
And that's where
the richest cabinet we've ever had in history. All these billionaires that are working for Trump in positions of power, removing environmental protections that cost their companies money, attacking like Doge, attacking agencies that cost their companies money. Yeah. The party of the people, right? No more taxes on tips. No more taxes on overtime. Except that wasn't changed in any of the latest laws that they put out. What was changed was subsidies for big businesses. Yeah. Anyways, might as well get back to this. See what they have to say.
Was joined by the 7 justices in the majority, actually said, quote, "We do not find the dissent." In other words, we do not find Alito and Thomas's dissent or their reasoning persuasive. So go ahead and put that in your robe and take it back to chambers with you, Alito and Thomas.
So the argument was too weak to carry weight.
Of the previous Supreme Court ruling on this similar topic, the topic of the illegal deportation of Kilmar Abrego Garcia and their refusal to comply. To what extent do you think that factored into this decision?
It did make an appearance because the majority opinion is about 8 pages, and they do reference how it sure seems like even when there were some injunctions in place, and even when the Trump administration assured federal judges, no, we don't intend to deport anybody anytime soon, there was an instance where they actually put a bunch of Venezuelan immigrants on a bus, took them out of a detention center and headed out to the airport. And in the dead of night, the Supreme Court had to put a stop to that. And what we know is those buses turned around after they passed the airport exit. This was down in Texas, and returned those immigrants to the detention facility. So you can't really take the Trump administration at its word. But here is one of my favorite aspects of this ruling, the majority opinion. They actually say, and let me quote from it. They say, the government said, meaning the Trump administration said, it's, quote, unable to provide for the return of an individual deported in error to a prison in El Salvador. That's Abrego Garcia. This means the detainees' interests are particularly weighty. And the beauty of that, Brian? I think everybody recognizes that the Trump administration is lying when they say they can't possibly provide for the return of anybody that they deport to El Salvador, even though Donald Trump, in I think a press conference, said, of course I can work with President Bukele and get immigrants returned. But the position they took in court is, nope, it can't be done. So the Supreme Court used that lie and threw it back in the Trump administration's face and said, well, if you're representing that you can't possibly bring anybody back who you admit you wrongfully deported, then guess what? Every immigrant's interests are heightened, are very weighty. So I love when they use a DOJ lie against the DOJ and the Trump administration.
Yeah.
Glenn, do you think it's fair to say that?
So I'm going to pause real quick. I'm going to go to a different screen just because I do need to run to the restroom, and I don't want to be unfair to these guys. So, are you tracking with that?
I am, yes.
What's your takeaway? I'm going to let you carry this for a quick sec.
Oh, my gut carrying stuff.
I just want to I want to hear what you interpret that to be. Well, what did you hear?
Barely anything because the volume was a little low. But that's totally my bad.
I can fix that if you want.
No problem. It was my problem. I actually had it too low. It's fully my problem. Well,
You alright? On the spot! Deal with it!
I'm about to do a 22-hour day. If we're gonna play League, one more match.
Yeah,
it's-
me
I'm
too.
gonna do a 22-hour day.
Yeah.
So this could be 22 hours up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm a little insane right now.
I feel that. How about I put it like this? One thing that they pointed out was it was so close. Like, the Trump administration tried to claim that, oh, we're not going to do anything. We're not going to kick anyone out. You can trust us. And literally in the middle of the night, a bus was dispatched. Courts found out how, I don't know. They had to put a stop to it in the middle of the night. It was so close that the buses almost made it to the airport before the courts forced the administration to return these people back to a prison. That's how close that came. These guys could have been in the air within 30 minutes or less of that order. They could have been out of U.S. jurisdiction within a couple hours.
Yeah, that's insane.
So if a judge did not wake up in the middle of the night or stay stupid late, these people could have been lost. And yet we literally have representatives from the Republican Party going to the prison they're at and saying, this is a tool at our disposal. If it's a tool at your disposal that you can use, you can choose not to use it. Right? They spent $6 million to keep these people here. Or to take them to El Salvador to keep them for a certain period of time. They're going to spend another $6 million again to keep them there. They're going to keep paying. You can do it a lot cheaper at home. You can be an asshole a lot cheaper at home. Wish I could say that to my customers sometimes. But at the end of the day, these guys can be imprisoned. Now, if you want to imprison them at home, you do have to go through some steps to do it legally. And if they're gone in another country's custody, that's what they're trying to do, is they're doing an end run around these people's rights. If the executive branch can move fast enough, they can violate people's rights fast enough. They've literally... have you heard of the... Abrego Garcia. Have you heard of his name?
It sounds very familiar.
Did you ever see the picture of the guy who had the MS-13 written on his hands?
That... maybe?
Juan Garcia. No.
It sounds familiar. Garcia is a very familiar last name.
Do you see this picture right here?
I think a little bit.
It's on stream.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I see it.
So, I have a question for you. If you're going to look at those pictures and possibly interpret the weed as M for marijuana, and the smiley face as an S, and the cross as a 1, and a 3, I guess, die, I don't know. Here's my question for you. Does that M, that S, or the 1, or the 3 look like it's actually on his skin? Boltos!
He's the quickest.
So what do you think of that? Does that look like it's actually on the skin of that hand? The MS13?
No. The shading is different.
And it's like clearly in a typed font, right?
Mm-hmm. Ain't no person having that good of font in that general handwriting.
Yes, my suggestions are fucking hilarious.
Urgent weather. Yeah, I'm currently dealing with that currently. Thank you very much.
He did not have the letter M.
So if my
as
power
one.
does
It
just
was-
go out, who knows?
Fair enough. I'm going to play something here. I want to make a point. Oh yeah, Boltos, I leave that on all the time because I do espouse things, and sometimes I mean, I try not to be. But I'm not always nice. I'm sorry.
Donald Trump insisted
I fail
that the man
a lot.
his administration had mistakenly deported to El Salvador back in March had a gang name tattooed on his hand.
By the way, real quick, the leading arguments against this guy is that there was a abuse allegation against his wife. Trump buried his wife on a golf course that people play on and doesn't always trim the grass. He's found guilty of putting his finger in places for a lady that does. Boltos, I'm super curious if you. I've listened to a good bit of this. What's confusing for you? I'm gonna keep going, but I would like to know what your confusion is, and maybe I can help. Maybe I can't. It's okay. I can be wrong. You can tell me I'm dumb.
Minute zone.
Or what?
Welcome to the minute zone.
I know, right? Wait, of the timer until we play?
No, of your stream delay.
Yes. So full minute. Okay. Well, so in that case, I can't change it. I'm sorry, but what I would say is this: I'm gonna play a video. It may take a minute or so to get through, but I want to make a point. Boltos, I want to hear what's confusing, but understand with Abrigo Garcia, he had a business, and his family was threatened, and his business was threatened, and he had to leave. I'd be curious to hear the narratives from both sides, Boltos. I'm just going to tell you what I know, and you can tell me what it matches up with or doesn't. This guy is not a saint. I don't proclaim him to be. I won't proclaim him to be. Why? Because I have no fucking way to know. But I can tell you that he had legitimate reason to be fearful for his life and his family's lives. He actually got, he was given asylum. Like, the U.S. government heard his case, gave him a hearing. Funny about that whole, like, due process and things, because, like, he totally came across illegally. 100% illegally. They agreed, and they went, shit, yeah, you're right. You really do have a real problem. Like, we understand why you came here the wrong way. We're still going to make you come in every year or two and prove that, like, you're doing things correctly, but we're going to give you the right to work. We're going to give you asylum and say that you can stay here. That sounds kind of compassionate, doesn't it? Like, we're going to look out for you. You've got a real problem, and we understand it, and we're going to try to help you and your family survive. Well, that was Trump's first administration. A judge under Trump's first administration gave him the right to work, gave him asylum, and said that he could stay in the U.S. as long as he reports once or twice a year. And when he did that, he was arrested by ICE and deported without even a single hearing. This picture has been used as justification to say he's part of MS-13 and label him a terrorist. The government says this person has a right to be here, more than what they do for you or me. We're citizens because we were born here. They want to take away our birthright citizenship and say, well, if the only thing you can rely on is being born here, then that's not good enough. But yet a court under this guy's previous administration said Abrego Garcia has the right to work, the right to be here. We're going to support you, protect you, as long as you go through this process. And if we decide that we need to send you away, Well, we'll do that later as a part of this process that you've got to go through. So the hearing said he can stay. The hearing could have said he can't. For a lot of people, it will. And yet, the funny thing is that when you hear the two arguments from both sides, a lot of what you'll hear is an opinionated statement from the Republicans saying, we want terrorists set free. We don't. We want them to come here, have their hearing, as they should have before they left, and sort them. Needs more research. Needs to get fucked. We can put them in categories. Like, this guy is a kid diddler. Fuck him. Ruin him. This person.
Phrasing, please. Phrasing. Oh my
this,
God,
but
I can't stress that enough.
Well, I mean, the whole Hitler with a pineapple doesn't sound too bad after they did bad things. Send it up there backwards. Make him suffer. I'm not the nice guy here, right? But it's simple. It really is. You gotta sort them. How do you sort them? With a court. You gotta give them a hearing. That's all the Democrats are asking for, not to set them free. Sort them. Figure out who actually is deserving of help and who actually is deserving of getting fucked. That's it. That's all I ask for. And this guy, who Trump's first administration said should be here, should stay, should be able to work. Sure, he had an issue with his wife who recounted it. Well, that's the same thing that happened with Trump's first wife. So if we're going to try to hold it against Abrego, why don't we hold it against Mr. T over here? The cognitive dissonance and convenient ignorance is hilarious. So this is an interview moment that might be worth you seeing.
Despite experts questioning otherwise.
But even the man that you picked out, he said he wasn't a member of a gang.
Oh, actually, you know what I can do? I'll stream to Discord so you don't have the same delay. Would that help you?
Ooh, I actually might a lot.
Alright, cool. So that you can take part in the conversation and not be left behind is probably the most fair. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Cool.
Absolutely.
They looked, and on his knuckles, he had MS-13.
There's a dispute.
Well, wait a minute. He had MS-13 on his knuckles tattooed.
Oh, he had some tattoos that are interpreted that way. But let's move on.
The photo in question is a picture that was shared on the White House's Instagram account on April 19th, where the president is holding up a photo of Gilmar Abrego Garcia, showing his 4 tattoos, one on each finger. In each knuckle, there is a picture of a leaf.
He's pretty smug in that picture.
A cross and a skull. The characters MS-13 were apparently added to the photo to decode the tattoos. The Trump administration claims the symbols are associated with the gang, with the marijuana leaf representing the M, the smiley face the S, the cross the 1, and the skull the 3. However, CBS says the experts and researchers they spoke to acknowledge that tattoos could carry gang-related symbolism, but the markings alone don't provide evidence that Abrego Garcia was a member of the gang. In the interview with ABC, Trump seemingly believed the characters were tattooed on Abrego Garcia and not added to the photo digitally. When the journalist, Terry Morgan, tried to correct Trump, the president fired back.
He did not have the letter MS-13.
It says MS-13.
That was Photoshop. So let me
That was Photoshop. Terry, you can't do that. Hey, they're giving you the big break of a lifetime. You know, you're doing the interview. I picked you because, frankly,
And
I never
he's
heard
our
of
president.
What stood out to you?
That so many people thought the same thing I did, and the president of the free world just said that it was not. Did no one give him any heads up, like, hey, we just decoded this or whatever? No one gave him a heads up.
So there's been multiple times where big current events happened, and he just straight up said, "I don't know. This is the first I'm hearing of it." He's supposed to be one of the most well-briefed people in the world.
Yeah, for sure.
There is no world in which him not being aware is acceptable. There's no excuse. He's either lying and knows, or is clearly and intentionally ignoring and isn't doing his job. But we can finish this real quick.
Okay, but I picked you, Terry, but you're not being very nice. He had
I picked you.
MS-13
You're not being very nice. I've given you everything.
Asked the journalist
Why
if
don't
he
you
had
make me
really
sound
seen
good?
The picture in question and insisted they were not digitally added.
He had MS as clear as you can be, not interpreted. This
It's so clear, it's almost like it was printed on the picture. Not his hand, but the picture.
Yeah, it's like so weird. Look,
I look.
Whoever tattooed this must have amazing handwriting. Get one
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah, I've seen some great tattoo artists, actually. But this
what
is
I
another
will
story
no longer
entirely.
believe
Well,
the news because
when
it's
he was
fake
photographed
news.
in El Salvador, they aren't there. But let's just go on.
He
They
is
aren't there when he's in El Salvador.
there. Oh, they
Take
weren't
a look
there,
at the
but they're
photograph.
there now, right?
No,
But
they're
there
in
now.
your picture.
Terry,
Ukraine, sir.
Abrego Garcia was living in Maryland with his wife and 3 children when he was deported to El Salvador in March and accused by the Trump administration of having ties to MS-13, despite not having a criminal record. According to court filings, he was born in El Salvador and crossed the border illegally in 2012 when he was 16. The Supreme Court
The one
has
country
since
he's not
ordered
allowed to
the
be sent
Trump
back to
administration
is where he
facilitate
is.
his return after the Justice Department
Yeah.
acknowledged he shouldn't have been deported because of a previous ruling that came after his arrest in 2019 for loitering at a Home Depot parking lot. In 2019, an immigration judge ruled that Abrego Garcia couldn't be deported back to El Salvador because he faced persecution from a gang. The judge
Trump's
therefore
first
allowed
administration.
him to stay in the United States under the status called, quote, withholding of removal. He later obtained a work permit. During his ABC interview, Trump acknowledged he could bring him back to the U.S., but won't.
this is a MS-13 gang member, a tough cookie, been in lots of skirmishes, beat the hell out of his wife, and the wife was petrified to even talk about him, okay? This is not an innocent, wonderful gentleman from
I'm
Maryland.
not saying he's a good.
So, let me make something clear. I am not going to defend anyone who hurts their partner. I don't care who that partner is or how they're described. The guy that just said that has been convicted by a jury of his peers for doing exactly that.
Yeah.
He has
He should
34
not be speaking
times.
with full confidence.
He's 34 times a felon. And he's talking about someone that's never been convicted once. My mother, a vindictive person who did a lot of damage to me, tried to bring 164 counts against my dad in one time. She lost all of them. Any decent prosecutor could have probably landed at least one. You're good, Baltos. Any decent prosecutor can at least get one of almost 200 fucking shits to stick. You would think.
They had the worst lawyer.
Well, Baltos, here's the thing. You can twist things to help people. You can twist things to hurt people. No, it's not. It's not all over the place. We actually covered this earlier, and you weren't here, and I don't hold that against you. Let me just pull something up real quick, real fast for you so you can see. Let me pop over here. I typed it terribly. Love it. Gorgeous. Let's pop this up. I'm gonna try to keep track of what he's up to. Well, so fair enough. But let me show you something. Let's control F this bitch. Life. That's how I got it last time. Let's jump it. 1, 2. All right. So let's hit this real fast. What the judge say doesn't always goes. Jesus, English dead. So I want to point out all persons born or naturalized in the United States, subject to the jurisdiction thereof. They're citizens. Okay. No state shall enforce a law that'll abridge this. Got it. Cool. No state will deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Everyone sent to El Salvador to that prison was sent very quickly and as fast as possible so that they could not go through at least a single hearing because it was on flimsy charges. They're picking people up out of court cases. Yes, as in everyone. Everyone. Not just citizens. Everyone. So everyone who is born in the U.S. and is subject to our jurisdiction, so two things need to be required. So let's say if I'm born in Tallahassee. Oh yeah, just popping on, absolutely. You're correct there, yes. So here's the thing. There was literally a situation where a busload of prisoners was going to an airport and they got spun around. Stopped. Right before it got there, they turned around. They had to go past the airport, turn around and come back. Because a judge was up at that hour and made a ruling to save their lives. I don't admire that work-life balance. So, yeah, that's real. That's where we're at. And I'm not comfortable with it. So let's just pop back to this and try to finish it up. What we've been watching is this video. If you haven't seen this before, both of us have you seen this part of the interview before? We can jump through it. I'll cut it up a bit to smooth. I know you're probably gonna game. Have you seen this? I'll play it so we don't waste your time. Oh, you have. Okay, we'll jump back. We'll jump back to the assumptions.
And the wife was petrified to even talk
He's
about it,
saying all this emotionally reactive stuff.
I'm not saying he's a good guy.
All this emotionally reactive stuff to make you turn off your brain and stop. If I said half of this emotionally reactive stuff about him, well, I wouldn't stop talking for a very long time. Because he's done a lot that bothers me. And it's easy to trigger someone and turn off their brain. The point here is this. He sees this image and he can't tell that it's been edited. I can respect that, but it's still important. Just as important as it is to read the Constitution directly. All persons. Until that's rewritten, it means all persons. Are these immigrants not human? Well, how do we figure out that they're immigrants before we can define them as not human? Sure. And he pauses awkwardly and weirdly, and it's annoying. I get that. But he's slow. And so am I. So, I can't judge. I just don't like the guy. But I do think it's important to hear these. And for at least in that case, for at least this conversation, I'll wrap this up and just play the rest.
Guy. It's about the rule of law. The order from the Supreme Court stands,
Came
sir.
into our country illegally.
You could get him back. There's a phone on this desk.
I could.
You could pick it up, and with all the power of the presidency, you could call up the president of El Salvador and say, send him
It
back
does,
right now.
Baltos.
And if he were the gentleman that you say he is, I would do that.
But the court has
he's
ordered
not.
you to facilitate.
If he were the gentleman you say he is, I'd do that. No one said he's a gentleman. They just said he's got to come back to the U.S., have due process, be sorted, filtered, and chosen by the hat of judiciary. The Harry Potter hat of choosing. Douchebag! Yeet!
Is it the how to sort it?
Yeah, yes, but I'm good at fucking it up. But, like, problem. Yeet.
I was making sure
Kick him
you
out.
don't know Harry Potter at all.
Kick him out.
I don't know
It doesn't.
any-
Well, it's called the sorting hat. It's called the sorting hat, I believe. I could be wrong. Someone can correct me. That's okay. But, like, you put the hat on, it reads your brain, it tells you what you are. The closest we have is a judiciary. English plus alcohols. I've been up too long. But it's simple. What's it? Baltos. He literally has a protection order. Let me just go back to earlier part of this. Please listen to this.
Each finger. In each knuckle, there is a picture of a leaf, smiley face, a cross, and a skull. The characters MS13 were apparently added
It'll
to
get
the
there.
photo to
I don't know
decode
exactly
the
when.
tattoos.
Sorry.
The Trump administration claims the symbols are associated with the gang, with the marijuana leaf representing the M, the smiley face the S, the cross the 1, and the skull the 3. However, CBS says the experts and researchers they spoke to acknowledge that tattoos could carry gang-related symbolism, but the markings alone don't provide evidence that Abrego Garcia was a member of the gang. In the interview with ABC, Trump seemingly believed the characters were tattooed on Abrego Garcia and not added to the photo digitally. When the journalist, Terry Morgan, tried to correct Trump, the president fired back.
Yeah.
He did not have the letter MS13.
It says MS13.
That was Photoshop. So let me
That
just...
was Photoshop, Terry. You
He
can't
had-
do that. Hey, they're giving you the big break of a lifetime. You know,
Yeah,
doing the interview.
you owe me. I gave you a break.
I never heard of you, but that's okay.
But this
I
will
picked
come.
you, Terry. Hey, but you're not being very nice. He had MS13 tattooed.
We'll agree to disagree.
Trump then asked the journalist if he had even seen the picture in question and insisted they were not digitally added.
He had MS, as clear as you can be, not interpreted. This is why
All right.
people no longer believe
Well,
the news, because
when
it's
he was
fake
photographed
news.
in El Salvador, they aren't there. But let's just go on. They aren't there when he's in El Salvador.
It's so uncomfortable, this whole conversation.
Now, right?
No,
But
they're in your picture.
Terry,
By the way, my face covering ABC News logo, I never thought I'd see that in my life. It's so weird.
Was deported to El Salvador
Sorry.
in March and accused by the Trump administration of having ties to MS-13, despite not having a criminal record. According to court filings, he was born in El Salvador and crossed
So, no criminal record. They're claiming he's got ties. Trump can't tell that it's edited.
couldn't be deported back to El Salvador because he faced
Oh, here's the part that's relevant for Baltos.
loitering at a Home Depot parking lot. In
I do too,
2019,
Baltos.
The immigration judge ruled that Abrego
I do.
Garcia couldn't be deported back to El Salvador because he faced persecution from a gang. The judge therefore allowed him to stay in the United States under the status called, quote, withholding of removal.
Withholding of removal means not now, but maybe later. We have decisions to make.
He later obtained a work permit.
He got a work permit
In his
under
ABC
Trump.
interview, Trump acknowledged he could bring him back to the U.S.
Stealing my
Well,
jobs.
This is a MS-13
Oh, he's
gang
not.
member, a tough cookie, been in lots of skirmishes.
Tough cookie. Lots of skirmishes. Substantiate this. Please, why don't you, bitch?
Beat the hell out of his wife.
Beat the
and
hell out of her.
was
Prove it.
petrified to even talk about him, okay? This is not an innocent,
Not defending the guy.
wonderful
Just
man.
saying.
He's a good
Prove
guy.
it.
It's about the rule of law. The order from the Supreme Court stands,
He came
sir.
into our country illegally.
The law is what you can prove. We can prove the guy came here illegally. Not that he beat his wife, sadly. If he did, honestly, he deserves to suffer. If he's been in a bunch of gang activity, he deserves to be locked up. I don't think anyone's going to reasonably argue that. Which is what Trump's trying to hang on to, is, again, more emotionally reactive stuff. The moment your emotions get fired up for something like that, yes, I can, I promise. The moment that your emotions get fired up on something like this, the most responsible thing is oftentimes to try to settle down your own internal angst and say, by the way, I'm going to leave it to you guys to turn this down, or if you need me to turn the individual stream YouTube down, I can. But when things get emotionally charged, we got to pull ourselves in and realize either we're being manipulated or we are blinding ourselves. One of the two. Someone else is blinding us, or we're blinding ourselves. 100%. Yeah. Do you need a second? Okay. No stress, man. Well, so the reality is he's trying to do an end run around. If he gets them out fast enough, the courts can't stop him. And that's true. What he doesn't seem to acknowledge is that they can't necessarily stop him from committing the crime. But they can hold him accountable, because the Supreme Court did rule that the president is not someone. The president is not capable of committing a crime or being held accountable for the crime while they are in office. He has this extreme level of immunity, which is fair and funny, because he agreed that the judge who has immunity for how she handles her courtroom should be arrested. I remember back when Republicans believed in states' rights, not just when it was convenient, but all the time. So they sent, abortion back to the states, so 1800s laws could get people killed, because that's what they wanted, because they don't like abortion. They knew they'd lose a few states, but whatever. They didn't really care. The majority of where they wanted to support, they could get what they wanted where they wanted it, and that's fine enough. But when it comes to a judge who has the ability to impact federal law, the whole country, suddenly they can't have that. The judiciary has an incredible amount of power. People underestimate heavily. And it's the hard work of those people and all of them. By those people, I mean literally people that defend people we don't like, people who attack people we don't like, and people who decide whether we're wrong or not. And by we, I'm just making huge assumptions, because it doesn't matter our stance. That's how the judiciary works. And it's by design. And so it's simple. Yes, they're kicking these people across ponds so that they can pretend they no longer have control over what happens to those people. They write all the checks that make it happen. They fund everything. Exactly, which is why he's careful of pissing off the Supreme Court. Because the Supreme Court can revoke that. And if he pisses enough Republicans off, he'll get impeached. If the Supreme Court revokes his immunity, then he can be criminally charged. And it'll take a couple years, but he'll spend the rest of his days in jail. He didn't want that. He's done too many bad things. That's why he ran for president, was to not. He needed the immunity because he literally was about to be found guilty of 34 counts, minimum, which he was. All of those counts would have landed him in jail if he didn't win the election. Exactly that. He's playing a game of years. How long can I live to accomplish what selfishly pleases me? If I can selfishly please myself for 6 years and I live for 10, it's not terrible. But what if I could do it for 12 years and I only live for 10? It's not that bad. I never have to pay. Never held accountable. So I want you to think about someone who's stuck in a prison yard. How hard they would fight to sit behind that desk with all that comfort, with the private chefs, with the space, with the protection, with no one able to touch them. That's why he's doing what he's doing. Not because he's innocent, not because he cares about us. He has billionaires in his cabinet because they can afford to pay for the tariffs, while small businesses fail. And then they're literally the only ones left alive, so they get to take over the market. This is how he's bribing people to keep him in power for another 4 to 10 years, if he can make it happen. 4 or 8 years, whatever. He's literally said he wants a third. I don't know if everybody, I'm so tired, I can't remember names, Jesus. Shiver is about back, but I will still pop into the rest of this video so we can kind of conclude on this one.
There's a phone on this desk. You could pick it up.
Let me know if it's too loud.
Call up the president of El Salvador and say, send him back.
And if he were the gentleman that you say he is, I would do that.
But the court has
he's
ordered
not.
you to facilitate that.
I'm not the one making this decision. We have lawyers that don't want to do this.
He just abdicated presidential power to a lawyer. The President of the United States is being told what to do by a lawyer. If the President of the United States is immune for anything he does, and he's just waiting on a lawyer to tell him what he wants to hear, all he's doing is playing ignorant until he can do what he wants. That is the definition of the law is what I say it is.
The buck stops in this office.
No.
The buck stops in this office, and he doesn't agree. This is important.
So let's talk about.
I'm going to lower this a little bit. Let's make a point. He swore an oath to preserve and protect the Constitution. Whether or not he touches the Bible or believes in the Bible is irrelevant. This is foundationally important. You've seen this, Baltos. Okay. In that case, if you've seen this, by the way, the whole interviews, all these interviews are insane to me. I figure we should probably wait for Grimbers. I got a 2-hour timer from fucking League because it's a bitch. Bud. Let's see. I mean, I'm not gonna hide from that. I want to watch this. This is. You don't know if you've seen it? Okay, we'll watch it, and if Grimbers comes back, we may watch it again. It's only 2 minutes.
Because obviously you've had a back and forth with the Supreme Court. In a 9-0 decision, the Supreme Court directed your administration to facilitate the return. We've talked about this in the past of Kilmar Abrego Garcia from a prison in El Salvador, whose deportation your administration called an administrative error. You said in a recent interview.
Oh, real quick. Oh yeah, that's fine. So here's the thing. Just to be clear, if you don't know yet, the lawyer who called that an administrative error got fired. The dude got fired because he was honest to the court. There's something called candor to the court that's required by a lawyer. You can't be a lawyer if you're not at least somewhat honest with the court, because good faith is required for even an adversarial court system to function. If you're going to lie to the court, then everything goes. Anything goes, and that doesn't work. That falls apart very quickly. So if a lawyer is lying to the court, then they get removed. We're playing whack-a-mole with bad lawyers who lie to the court. who are willing to work with a client who will not inform them. Exactly. But the executive branch is intentionally keeping their lawyers in the dark so they cannot testify properly. That's why when people go into Congress and say, oh, we'll investigate that, or go to court and say, we'll investigate that, or stand in public, or in any place that matters under oath and say, we can look into this, all they're doing is stalling for time. That's it. There are times where ignorance is justified, and there are times where it's reasonable to need to look into something. But to have to do it every single time someone holds you accountable, it's not reasonable. It's not justified. It's either extreme incompetence or extreme indecency, lack of candor. None of that is justifiable, and all of it is reason to remove someone. That's what we're dealing with. I'll just get back into this. So yeah, the lawyer that admitted that it was a administrative failure also mentioned that they were having a hard time getting information from the executive branch. They couldn't get information that they asked for. They didn't get what they needed, and by admitting that, they ended their career in that position. They got fired. Why? Why are they fired? They did their job. They were honest. If you're firing honest people, you're on the wrong side of history. I'll get going.
Could bring him back, but you won't. Are you defying the Supreme Court?
No, I'm relying on the Attorney General of the United States. Payne Bondi is very capable of doing a great job.
He's relying on his Attorney General to interpret things. Yes. He's relying on his Attorney General to interpret things. Maybe this will be more impactful. Let me turn my volume down so I don't suffer, and I'll turn up my desktop audio for you. That in stream. That'll impact you more, I think.
Because I'm not involved in the legality or the illegality. I have lawyers to do that, and that's why I have a great DOJ.
I'm pausing just to stop so I have a data point. Is this good? Yes, he's passing it on. He's kicking the buck. He wants to be Teflon Donald Trump. For this video type, it's reasonable to change things around. How does this sound?
Hey, we have a great one. We had a very corrupt one before. Now we have a great one. And they're not viewing the decision the way you said it. They don't view it that way at all. They think it's...
He's trying to say someone else is flipping the script, when in reality it's just him doing what's convenient. He's setting up a scapegoat. Again, it's all he knows how to do. But how does this volume sound to you?
Knock, knock.
Welcome back. We did move to a different subject. Okay, Baltos is giving me audio feedback as we've been gone. I want to cue you into a couple things. So you heard the a good bit of the previous interview where Trump couldn't tell that video was edited, right? Or that picture was edited, right?
Yeah.
There was a point where he mentioned that he could call El Salvador and try to get Abrigo Garcia back. And he claimed, well, if he was the guy that you claim he is, I would absolutely do that. That destroys any argument he has that he doesn't have control.
Yes.
He's writing the checks, therefore he has control. He is now criminally liable for that as soon as his presidential immunity is revoked.
Ooh. That sounds good.
Well, in theory. But let's understand it's going to take a lot of work to get us there. So, how might one remove his presidential immunity? Well, you might prove that the guy doesn't know how to do the job foundationally. Like, he doesn't even understand what the terms of his position are. Like, protecting or upholding the Constitution. That's kind of a big one, right? The president's supposed to, be the executive branch. Execute the laws. Tough guy.
You were signed in with the inauguration. Probably as if they're a law.
Yep. So we're gonna kill this first 50 seconds of this video straight. If you need me to explain something, I will. I may break a couple points down. I may
also 25 or 21 minutes left.
Perfect. We're getting there. We can play a game or two before I pass the fuck out. Hopefully.
I'm back with energy again. That was inside of me.
That sounds concerning. I don't know what it is, but it's concerning. All right.
Yeah,
I'm going to start this video real quick from the beginning. Sorry, Baltos. I just want to make sure that Shiver has the right pickup from where we're at.
You've had a back and forth with the Supreme Court. In a 9-0 decision, the Supreme Court directed your administration to facilitate the return. You've talked about this in the past of Kilmar Abrego Garcia from a prison in El Salvador, whose deportation your administration called an administrative error.
Real quick, I do want to mention the administrative error. The lawyer who admitted to that, who is responsible for, by the way, picking up where Baltos and I have been talking. As a lawyer, you have to have candor with the court. If you lie, it all falls apart. Because everything goes, right? The court system falls apart instantly. It's not slow. It's fast. So the court will remove any lawyer who does not have candor, who lies to it. If the court catches a lawyer lying, they get the boot. So the lawyer who admitted it was an administrative error, because that's what they were told by the, executive branch, by Trump's administration, they then stated, this is the thing. This is what happened. This is what we were told. They got fired for that. So the Trump administration is doing nothing but sending scapegoats into the fire as fast as possible. And you're going to see that in just a second. The setup is obvious.
You said in a recent interview you could bring him back, but you won't. Are you defying the Supreme Court, sir?
No, I'm relying on the Attorney General of the United States, Pam Bondi, who's very capable, doing a great job, because I'm not involved in the legality or the illegality. I have lawyers to do that, and that's why I have a great DOJ. We have a great one. We had a very corrupt one before. Now we have a great one. And they're not viewing the decision the way you said it. They don't view it that way at all. They think it's a totally different decision.
Well, you say you have the power to bring him back, though. Your attorney general says, quote, that's up to El Salvador. Just to put a fine point on this, do you have the power to bring Abrego Garcia back as the Supreme Court?
Well, I have the power to ask for him to come back if I'm instructed by the attorney general that it's legal to do so. But the decision as to whether...
He literally just said if he has the instruction from the Attorney General that it is legal, not illegal, that it is legal to do so. Oh, I think it might be illegal to bring him here because he shouldn't be here. Your prior administration said that there needs to be more finding done, more decision-making done. It's kind of weak.
or not he
I feel
should
like
come
everything
back.
he says is weak in some.
I gotta be honest with you, man.
Some stuff is very.
Some stuff is strong. It doesn't make it right. You can be strongly walking in the wrong direction. Like,
Well, I do is I confidently say incorrect stuff. That way it sounds correct.
Yeah, I've actually heard jokes about how Americans. By the way, real quick, this picture is kind of funny. He's kissing the air. Anyways, Americans will confidently walk in the wrong direction is a common note from other countries. We do. He is.
Yeah.
He's an American. Through and through. In the greediest, most embarrassing sense. From my point of view, at least.
Will be the head of El Salvador. He's a very capable man.
Well, you know, and your Attorney General has said it, the issue is with that word facilitate. Will you seek clarification from the Supreme Court? Do you need to go back to the Supreme Court?
We may do that. I was asking about that. We may do that.
Your Secretary of State says everyone who's here, citizens and non-citizens, deserve due process. Do you agree, Mr. President?
I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I don't.
His job is to know.
I am not a lawyer. Brother, what
Huh?
are you on?
His job
He
is
said,
to
I'm
know.
not a lawyer. No
Yeah.
shit, you aren't.
But his job is to know. His job is to be informed. And he claims he doesn't? He's phoning in the presidency, just like he did with his several hundred days of golfing last time.
Don't know.
Well, the Fifth Amendment says
I don't know. It seems.
Okay, sorry. 300 and some odd days. I think it was 360 something. So roughly a quarter of his last presidency. That's justifiable, considering before he got elected, he talked shit about Biden. No, sorry. He's talked shit about Biden and Obama, but that one was Obama. And he was talking about how he would never have time to golf. He still had time to golf a quarter of the days he was president. He claimed he'd be so busy. He wasn't. He wasn't. His previous aides got mad that his briefing, he insisted it had to be boiled down to a one-page briefing that might have been double-sided from an over 60-page normal briefing from any other president. Yeah. All the things...
It sounds like this is dumb ways to die.
All the things that governments would kill to learn about are in this briefing. And because he was too lazy to read it, he threw away over 90% of it. Which makes sense why he could potentially get to a camera and say, "This is the first I've heard of it. I didn't know the ketchup attacked the mustard." But in reality, isn't it the fault of the salt? What? They weren't even anywhere nearby. Well, I'm a little salty about the one time that it got in my cut. Oh. So that one thing was inconvenient for you once, and it's still a thing that you hate? Really? You're a president. You haven't learned or grown. Oh, okay. Guess we're here. Guess this is where we're at now. Might as well get to finish this. But I do want to break it down where it matters and make sure that you guys are tracking. Not
14 minutes.
Unfortunately, sweet. Unfortunately, like, to explain the things that are assumed takes time. Glenn actually jokingly and very clearly expresses, I was there in a Zoom call for his channel and for his Patreon. I was the youngest person there. It was very uncomfortable. It was very uncomfortable. Yeah. And he says, my target demographic is deceased. That's his line. Like, not even joking, word for word. His target demographic is deceased. So,
I mean,
how do we find someone who's going to bring anybody who's looking for a direction, a directive, or a path that's fair? How do we give them someone to look to start their adventure?
Napoleon.
Yes. Little man with a complex. Fight everything, kill everything, fuck everything else. Got it.
Hell, I think Napoleon was a virgin.
I have no idea. I don't care, but it sounded...
I'm looking that up in an incognito tab.
You're gonna be tracked. But it's I said it to be funny. I can be wrong. Anyways, I want to finish this video in 14 minutes. I think we can do fucking 1 minute and 6 seconds in 14 minutes.
It seems it might say that, but if you're talking about that, then we'd have to have 1 million or 2 million or 3 million trials We have thousands of people that are some murderers and some drug dealers.
Hold on. 1, 2, or 3 million trials. He thinks they need a whole multi-month or year criminal trial. Remember how early on I mentioned hearings? This is why. One hearing with a judge to choose probable cause or to figure out if someone is or is not an illegal immigrant. Were they born here? Yes. No, they're not. Were they born elsewhere? Yes. How'd they get here? Why are they here? Well, why doesn't matter until they ask for asylum. So that changes things a little bit. That whole asylum thing does complicate things. And it takes more time. And it generates the opportunity for gray area for people who are in between. Abrego Garcia showed up to his court hearings, which is why he got arrested. So, if he's so evil, why did he show up to his court hearings? Meanwhile, Trump, in the rape trials against him, couldn't even be arsed to show up for most of them. Even though he was president, you should at least show face and own your behavior. Or fight. He didn't do that. He's only fought for momentary, just political positions. When he got shot at, sure. He was literally being tackled by a bunch of people and knew no one was reasonably going to get another shot off. So, he put his fist up and acted tough as he was getting tackled by 6 people. Don't get me wrong, we'd all get tackled by 6 people. But he really didn't do much there. He put his fist up. He's like, it's an opportunity to be a strong guy. Do! And it won him the presidency as far as I'm concerned. Well, actually, no, that was after he got president. But regardless, I'm going to go forward. But it won him a ton of people. And unfortunately, it undid a lot of real hard work from people who were logical. That's probably more accurate to my point. But anyways, let's move forward. Get this done.
Some of the worst people on earth. Some of the worst, most dangerous people on earth. And I was elected to get them the hell out of here. And the courts are holding me from doing it.
But
I can't win the sports ball game because the judges are fair. They're slowing me down. Good judges are a problem. Judges at all are a problem. What if I had no judges? I could do so much more. Boltos, honestly, I'm too tired to recall the attempt on him. In truth, it might have gone differently, but I doubt it. I really do. I think his messaging, unfortunately, is strong within certain groups of people. And it's not a hateful thing. As he says, I love the uneducated. He does. It takes education to detect the games he's playing. Not much, but it needs to be there. And unfortunately, the balance that I struggle with is I'm happy to offend Trump. I'm happy to offend anyone who blindly supports him. If they foundationally support what he stands for, as long as he actually stands for it, you know what? They win. They win that debate. I will not change their mind. If they want billionaires to pay less in taxes, no, hardworking servers' tips to be free from taxes, and all overtime to be taxed, and the debt to go up while we cripple the government, then I can't argue that. They're getting what they want. He promised no servers, would pay taxes, and all overtime would be tax-free. All that. He promised that. He's not keeping it. Not even slightly. Instead, he's going after the grannies. And people who support him have talked about how only people who are faking being a grandmother would instantly report that they need their funding. My grandmother still needs to eat tomorrow. And many grandmothers don't have enough money to bridge the month, much less 2 to 3 months. Even though they're slow on technology, they're going to find someone to speak up for them. So just because someone speaks up within a couple weeks doesn't make them a scammer. But that's an insinuation and an argument made by a Trump supporter. I take issue with it. I'm going to finish this video. I'm sure we've got, what, 5 minutes left? 8 minutes left?
6:30.
Hey, right in the middle.
But even given those numbers that you're talking about, don't you need to uphold the Constitution of the United States as
I
president?
don't know. I have to respond by saying again, I have brilliant lawyers that work for me. And
I think a genius can get me out of my constitutional obligations.
they are going to obviously follow what the Supreme Court said. What you said is not what I heard the Supreme Court said. They have a different interpretation.
Is anyone in your administration right now in contact with El Salvador about returning Abrego Garcia to
I
the
don't
United
know.
States?
You'd have to ask the Attorney General that question.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated.
Sorry, typing. You know what? You can hate my typos. I'm gonna leave it in. Fuck it.
What typo are you doing?
Honestly, unsure. Oh, I could have fun with this one. Hold on. Hold on. I'm gonna make an intentional one for you. Oh yeah, that's brutal. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Boltos. That's kind of intentional. I've been just trying to get through points and burning a clock because I got a 2-hour timer and I wanted to play. Mostly, Buddy here wanted to play, but I'm willing to talk shit in the meantime. Did you find my intentional typo yet?
I have not. I don't know where the typo is.
Rub-publicans.
I was looking in League. I finally got to that. I was like, no way.
It's pretty rough. Pretty rough. I was like, I know that I spelled fucking devastating poorly. Fine. Okay, cool. But Rub-publicans? You know what? Doesn't sound wrong. As far as I can tell, Baltos, I think that it did. Yes. I've been paying $27 a month to do YouTube and Twitch. The only videos that I take down are where I'm concerned about doxing, or I'm concerned about, like, the last one, honestly, I kind of bullied a guy. I feel bad. I did save the stream for later. I don't think I'm going to do anything with it, but I just don't feel decent bullying people. He was high as hell, and I was drunk as hell, and I was the aggressor. And it was wrong. He had a very blatant and aggressive Trump name and said he was trying to piss off trolls. And so I called him the troll. And we basically got into a cycle of me relitigating the issue and never stating, just because you state it again doesn't remove what I had to say. Doesn't change a thing. Doesn't make it better. Doesn't make you right. Saying the same thing over and over doesn't make other people wrong. It just makes you annoying and repetitive. I could have said that. Stayed fairly aggressive, even if I wanted to be forceful, and done better than re-arguing the point 50 times in a row for an hour or two. I just don't think it serves any reasonable purpose, and I don't feel, especially with him being that high, that or me that drunk and repetitive, that it's just helpful. Honestly, you can ask. Yeah, I'm so tired tonight. I'm sorry. Yes, Shiver. Shiver, did you feel it was entertaining or concerning? Because I think concerning stands pretty strong.
Which statement?
When I was debating Mr. Trump name buddy who was repetitive.
Oh, honestly, I thought some moments of it were pretty funny. Then some moments kind of concerning. Most moments of me wanting to step in.
I think it was mostly just what the fuck. Yeah, there was a lot of concerning, sure, but like the dude. So Boltos, in truth, the guy literally admitted that there's questions of his own legality in the U.S. and his family's legality in the U.S. As if somehow that makes him, invincible against people judging him for having a Trump name in game. But also wanting to piss off the libs is why he had it. But he's not the troll. They are. Anyone who mentions it to him is the troll. Bruh. Not only do the people that you're using their names hate you, and you're defending them. Dude, oh wow, I didn't know that, Boltos. That's kind of cool. I don't know where you are now, but that's kind of chill. I don't know anyone from Australia that I deeply hate. Some people make me uncomfortable, but I don't know anyone I deeply hate. I like that. I'm kidding. I actually don't know. But like the thing is this. I want you to imagine like the most ignorant person you've ever met having a circular conversation and telling you that the people you care about are the worst in the world. And while that is an unfair representation of my conversation with that guy, that's honestly how it feels a lot of times when I talk to people who support Trump personally. And
okay,
time. Hey, get that clock started.
If I see like a week, I swear to God.
Alright, I'm just gonna kill those and let's get in game. Let's do this.
God, I swear to God, if I see a fucking like 3-week ban.
I'm gonna have to message League and ask them for help. Like, this is insane. But what it really boils down to me, which is hilarious, how do I have a fucking 2-hour timer when I have a fucking 5-orb thing, like, for being decent to people, bless you. Twice. 3 times for good luck, nice. 4 times for confusion? No, just good luck, gotcha. Boltos, I only ever do ARAM. I'm so limited. I play League because I'm bad at it, because I don't care. I try not to play anything else, just because I don't want to get involved. The moment I get involved, I clicked it. I clicked it twice. I swear!
Yeah, you got it.
I did it again. God damn it. What the fuck?
Okay, Zillion.
I'm still waiting. I believe you, Boltos. I have got to turn some of my volume down. Holy shit. That's too loud. I still can't.
Right now.
I know, but I can't see anything else. I have uninstalled and reinstalled League, but like I guess I have to do it within the week? Like what the fuck? My League is super fucked. Oh shit, maybe I can get Akshan?
There's 12 seconds.
16 on my screen. Did they trade?
No.
I can't even change my runes. I have Kog'Maw,
You're
Aram,
nodding,
Blade of
too.
the Ruined King.
How the fuck are you in champ select? We've already backed out. We're playing in Mega Time Ping.
I'm gonna see if... Oh. So it just shot me out because it hates server. Okay. You know what? I'm just gonna hit be right back and try to fucking mess with my VPN because this is disturbing. Welcome to my life with League. I don't know. I have to nuke it from Task Manager. Let me go to Hex Tech Repair Tool, because, like, fuck it, we're invested. I just spent 2 hours talking goddamn politics to try to fucking play a fucking game. Sorry. I'm a little cranky. I've had issues like this start months ago, man, but it's gotten worse in the as each update goes on, and I'm still on Windows 10, so as each update goes on, it just gets worse and worse and worse. Which sucks, but it's even worse because if I turn off Streamlabs, I don't have an issue. Oh, or if I turn off my VPN, which, no. Alright. By the way, just so you know, I'm downloading Hex Tech Repair Tool real quick. This is going to take more time than I want. I'm sorry, guys. You still there?
Yeah, I'm vibing.
So, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just uninstalling League. And I'm going to move it to my C drive, which now has enough space. I hope. I'm going to check real quick. The 76 gigs, fucking, I'll throw 36 gigs in there. Which is insane because it's 1 terabyte. Don't get me wrong, I also have a total of 5 terabytes of NVMe storage. So, like, my limitation is the ability to move things to and from my computer, and that's about it. Which is kind of cool. Well, I could have started this earlier. I'm sorry.
Don't feel sorry.
Too late. Deal with it. I'm so annoyed. Huh. Yeah, Boltos, I've had some issues, but only because well, in truth, I just I don't want to get rid of, like, I don't want to redo my PC. Like, if I were to do a full rebuild, I'd probably carry over only a few things, but that just takes so much more work than I want to do. Way more work. Alright. I do kind of want another beer, but I also know better. Downloading League. Screaming internally. Well, so Boltos, my PC is kind of overpowered as fuck. Just saying. It's pretty nice. But it's still a few years old, and the issue is sometimes when you have enough operating system age, it can make things slow, but also if you run enough other things, it can make things slow. It's just a gnarly combination of inconvenience. That's a problem. Alright. Sure. Auto update Riot. You can do all the shits that you want. %26%. So I'm gonna move the things that are concerning out of there. Although I know some of it's still there for Discord stream. I'm gonna pop back to live screen for the yeah, Baltos, I do kind of want another beer, but I can feel my stomach, and I know better. I don't want to be upset or have an upset stomach. But Baltos, I know this is really bright. Here's something for you. So this is the thing that I was pointing out. This is the if I'm reading it correctly, 14th Amendment, written in 1868. And it just states, if you're born here, you're a U.S. citizen. And everyone has the right to due process, no matter who you are. So anyone who wants to argue that, and here's the thing that stands out to me. If anyone were to want to argue that, for example, illegal immigrants do not have the right to due process, that same person would have to argue that you can define someone as an illegal immigrant without the court. That's a big deal. Shiv, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm
Oh,
waiting
good.
until you.
I'm sure you're
Come
falling
back.
asleep. I'm sorry.
No, I'm vibing.
But so that same court, to justify deporting these guys to go back while I buy time, would literally have to admit. Oh, you fucking kidding me. I gotta restart the whole computer. I'll be right back. But it would require the court to quite literally not exist, so that the so the executive could just send people where they want. That's an issue. I'll be right back.